Hello. I think I'm live on the internet. Hello, hello. Good morning. Welcome to this. Uh, hello. This is a very different stream than what I usually do. I but I wanted to do something relaxing today, and this is what I wanted to do. I watched The Odyssey last week, and also, can you hear my fan? It's so hot in LA, and I'm wearing this satin pajama shirt because I wanted to fit the vibe of bedtime stories, but I think it was a mistake because it's very warm. Um Not that I also, disclaimer, if you're looking for pure ASMR as a ASMR girly, this might not be like pure ASMR. It's just gonna be soft spoken, me reading the Iliad, and also my commentary on the Iliad. So if you're here for audiobook level quality, I don't know how to read out loud, and I'm learning. Gray ASMR has returned. You know it, baby. I love ASMR. I love anything that's vibey. So I'm excited. And also, I never read the Iliad. Alphonse. Can you tap your nails on like glass or something for fun? Fucking but I painted my nails again. But I picked them off so they're really short so I can't make tapping noises. We can kind of. Also, I can't hear what my mic is picking up, so let me know if it's just diabolical, like the noises. Um, Thank you. It almost matches the colors of your name on the chat. That's crazy. Her heart's in the right place. I I never had to read the Iliad or the Odyssey in high school, and so I feel like I'm missing out on culture. Like when I watched the Odyssey, I was shocked about things that happened. There were plot twists for me because I didn't know the story. Like I knew like the vibes of like when people talk about doing an Odyssey, but I didn't know the plot. I didn't know who lived, who died. No idea. I can't believe giving Grace ASMR. I love ASMR, and I used to be really ashamed at the fact that I liked ASMR. Also, I got my hair cut today. I used to be really ashamed of the fact that I liked ASMR. I thought it was embarrassing, but it's not embarrassing, okay? It's just called vibes. So, I'm also going to be testing my literacy today by seeing if I can read out loud, which, as we know, it's debatable if I can read out loud, yes or no. Because we all know what happens when I try to read names out loud. I get ASMR on my Insta Reels only because of your influence. You're so welcome. Also, I got my haircut today by this woman named Grace. So, good day today. Yeah, I've just been having like a really bad brain foggy couple of days. And so I was like, you know what? I just want to sit back, read the Iliad, and see what the fuck is going on. Because I know this is a poem. And can I get some snaps in the chat? Because poetry is supposed to be read out loud. I don't know if that's true, but I just said that, so I guess it's true. At least true for me. I've made a new scene. You know this thing. So let me see if this works. I made it so I have this YouTube video which is Forest Sounds Woodland Ambiance, copyright free, no AI. This was made like 10 years ago. I literally searched up forest ambiance, no AI, non-copyright. Because I want to be able to play to some nice ambiance as we read. And then if I end up doing this and finishing it and doing the Odyssey, I want to do one of these, but it's like the ocean. Because I feel like that would fit. But I didn't know what the vibe is for the Iliad. I know less about the Iliad than I do the Odyssey, because at least I saw the movie. But I don't even know what the Iliad's about. I know it's about the war, and the Odyssey is like the fallout from the war. So I didn't want to put war ambiance in the background. So we get forest ambiance. I am reading more like the Iliad. Warcraft. I'm reading the Emily Wilson translation because I'm a feminist, but also it's the most recent, and I really like this cover. And I do judge book by their covers. Tell me more about the war. The only thing I know actually is I read the book called Clytemnestra, which is about Agamemnon's wife, and told from her point of view. Fucking, I'll say it first. Fuck Agamemnon. he gets frontward facing, middle finger up for Agamemnon. Fuck that guy. Based off her point of view, but he also, in the, no spoilers, but he seems like a little bitch and I hate him. Anyway, should we read the Iliad? It has the nice, like, textured edges. Do you guys see? It's like, so it feels like it was like ripped. Let me see if I can give you some nice page flipping. Oh, I think I might. How bad of an ASMR channel is it that I'm not listening to what my mic is doing? I'm so bad at what I do. Reading in school, especially when they had AR reading. Oh yeah, reading out loud. Well, also, let me know if you can hear the forest ambiance and if it's too loud, too much. Let me know if there's too much ambiance. Popcorn reading, as someone with a social anxiety, nightmare. I just didn't like it because I liked reading out loud just because I like reading, but not knowing when I was next, I don't like the surprise factor. So, time to get over that fear of reading out loud, I guess, and practice reading out loud because I've realized I've regressed in my reading capabilities. I've started whole word reading, or not started, I have been for a while, where I'll look at a word and not pronounce it in my brain. My brain will just look at the shape of a word and be like, okay, that's the word. So every time it pops up in the book, I'm like, yep, that's that word, and I know what that, like, I know what it means, but I don't sound it out. Like, I gotta get hooked on phonics, man. I gotta get hooked on some phonics, because I need to fucking learn how to read again. Anyway, so Emily Wilson, teach me how to read. That's what this is what the stream should have been called. Emily Wilson, please teach me how to read. This book is also fucking heavy. It's much bigger than the Odyssey, I feel. I guess there's more to war than after war. My problem when it comes to reading is my brain will read a sentence and I'll get stuck on that one sentence and read it, like I read it correctly. I'll know I read it correctly, but my brain is like, cannot remember. That's the way that I reread sentences and paragraphs, because I read it and then I'm like, yep, and then my brain's be like, no, we didn't get it. Do it again. It didn't feel right. Read it again. Nope, still didn't get it. One more time. And I'm just like, fucking shit. Anyway, shall we begin? I'm so excited. Guess we're gonna get some, oh, Homer. Homie. ASMR, The Simpsons. Homie. Homer, the Iliad. Translated by Emily Wilson. Copyright 2023. I will read every goddamn word on this. To the memory of my mother, who first taught me to love poetry. Emily. Last book I attempted to read was Maze Runner. I read the Maze Runner for the first time, like, in my 20s. I read it. I think I was working at Universal Studios at the time. I would read it between sets, like between dressing the minions. Just a little context of when I was reading the Maze Runner. Ooh, okay. Oh, they have maps in this. Oh, fuck yes, dude. Oh, I love when books have maps. There's an introduction. Which, should I read the introduction? Is there gonna be spoilers in the introduction? Okay, you know what, actually, I think I should read the introduction, because I think I'll be confused if I don't. Introduction, guys, we're fucking finding out the lore. Alright, I will not be part of the uncultured swine who doesn't understand what happened in the Trojan War. Introduction. The Iliad, a long epic poem set in the mythical... Oh, I'm so fucking stupid. Why did I think the Trojan War was real? At least somewhat. Like, I thought it, like, all the, like, the Iliad and the Odyssey talking about the Trojan War, I thought it was just, like, historical fiction, where it's like, this really happened, but not like this. I didn't realize the whole war was fake. God, I'm so stupid. I'm not stupid. I feel like that's maybe a very common misconception to have. So let's not judge too fiercely. Liv is calling me. Liv, I'm reading your favorite book, The Iliad, live on stream. Give me 1 second. Hey, I'm live on stream right now. What's up? You good? Alright, I love you so much. Love her. Love her so bad. Alright. Are we ready? Okay. So, set in the mythical Trojan War. Get excited. Tells two interwoven stories across its 24 books. The first describes the overwhelming anger of a Greek warrior, Achilles, and its catastrophic consequences. You know, I never read the Song of Achilles, but I hear it's tragic, so get excited. The second tells how a brave Trojan warrior, Hector, leaves his city and family to attack the Greek invaders and returns home only after death. Fucking spoilers, right? The two stories are closely braided together. Achilles' rage and his consequent absence from battle enables Hector's successful advance towards the Greek camp. Hector... This is gonna have spoilers. I'm skipping this, because I just read a spoiler. It's the fucking Iliad. I'm like, spoilers. We can always reference the introduction if we need, but 10 tongues. What? The oral poetic heritage of the Iliad explains features of its style and poetic technique that are otherwise likely to seem puzzling. Oh, but I was just like, when are there 10 tongues in the story? Okay. Yeah. Introduction, translator's note. Damn. When's the book start? Map time. Oh, baby. Ooh. Okay. Greece and Western Anatolia. Look at that. Gorgeous. Love a map. Mediterranean Sea. Okay, Central Greece. Oh, and they got fucking Journeys to Troy. Yeah. These are good maps. Ugh. Theater of the Trojan War. The Troad region. The Aegean Sea. Lesbos. It's the island all my girls are at. Let's go to Lesbos. Okay, Trojan Plain. Fig tree. There's a fig tree labeled on this map. It just says fig tree, and I find that's hopefully going to be a very important location. Alright. The Iliad. Time to begin in earnest. Are you ready? Book 1. The Quarrel. Goddess, sing of the cataclysmic wrath of great Achilles, son of Peleus. Disclaimer, none of these names are to be pronounced correctly. And I'm gonna use the Brandon Sanderson technique, which is however you pronounce it is canon. So, if I don't pronounce it correctly, shut up. I'm gonna make it up as I go. Anyway. The cataclysmic wrath of great Achilles, song of Peleus, which caused the Greeks immeasurable pain, and sent so many noble souls of heroes to Hades, and made men the spoils of dogs, a banquet for the birds, and so the plan of Zeus unfolded, starting with the conflict between great Agamemnon, lord of men, and glorious Achilles. Oh, I didn't know Achilles and Agamemnon didn't like each other. Also, he made men a banquet for the birds. That's George R.R. Martin, Feast for Crows. I see what you got your inspiration. Which god set the pair apart and prompted them to fight? Apollo, son of Leto and of Zeus. Furious at the son of Atreus, the god spread deadly plague throughout the camp, so the common troops began to die, because their leader, Agamemnon, treated Chryses, Chryses. I'm gonna call him Chryses. That's really funny. Her name's Chryses. Chryses, Apollo's priest, with disrespect. Likely thing for Agamemnon to do, he seems like a little bitch. The priest had come towards the swift Greek ships, and faced the warriors bedecked in bronze, to free his daughter with a countless ransom. He had removed his sacred diadem. Oh, the priest had come towards the swift Greek ships and faced the warriors bedecked in bronze. Agamemnon kidnapped his daughter? He had removed his sacred diadem, the emblem of the distant god Apollo, and held it wrapped around a golden staff, and prayed to all the Greeks, and most especially the pair of men who brought the troops to Troy, the sons of Atreus, Lord Agamemnon, and Menelaus. I think that's how that's pronounced, because doesn't that guy play it in the movie? I feel like he's in the new movie. Menelaus. Oh yeah, because he marries Helen. John Bernthal? I don't know that actor's name. Good for him, though. Sons of Atreus, and all you other warriors from Greece, I pray the gods who live on Mount Olympus allow you to destroy King Priam's city and safely reach your homes, if you return my darling child to me. Accept this ransom and satisfy Apollo, son of Zeus, the god who shoots and strikes from far away. Should I do voices? Should I do some voices? What does a priest sound like? Sons of Atreus, and all you other warriors from Greece, I pray the gods who live on Mount Olympus allow you to destroy King Priam's city and safely reach your homes, if you return my darling child to me. Accept this ransom and satisfy Apollo, son of Zeus, the god who shoots and strikes from far away. Then all the other Greeks agreed to take this lavish ransom and respect the priest. But this proposal did not please the heart of Agamemnon, son of Atreus. He spoke to him aggressively, and sent him harshly away. What does Agamemnon sound like? He's a little bitch. Be off with you, old man. No, I can't make Agamemnon. Be off with you, old man. You must not let me catch you lingering here, beside our hollow ships a moment longer. And if you ever come back here again, your staff and diadem will not protect you. I will not let her go. She shall grow old a very long away from her fatherland in Argos, in my house, and work the loom, and share my bed. Now go. Do not enrage me. Go if you want to get away alive. I fucking hate Agamemnon. Dude, this guy sucks. Okay. At this, the old man was afraid. He left and walked in silence on the shore, besides the loud, resounding rumble of the sea. Once he was far away from everyone, he prayed to Lord Apollo, son of Leto, the goddess with the lovely braided hair. See, this dark ambient lighting is making it hard for me to read. I'm like my father at a restaurant. I'm like, what the fuck? I need this. I'm like, pull out my phone flashlight. Love this crop. Thank you. I went for artistic forest ambiance. Okay, so he's praying to Apollo. Okay. Lord of the silver bow, now hear my prayer. Great guardian of Tenedos and Chryse and sandy Scylla, Mouse Lord. I love that Apollo's called Mouse Lord. Mouse Lord. If I ever built temples to your liking, ever burned fat thighs of oxen or of goats for you, fulfill this prayer for me, and let the Greeks suffer your arrows to avenge my tears. This was his prayer. And Phoebus heeded him. Enraged at heart, he swooped down from the peaks of Mount Olympus, bearing on his shoulders his quiver and his bow, and as he moved in rage, his arrows clattered at his back. Like night, the god descended. Then he sat at a distance from the ships and started shooting. Who's Phoebus? Phoebus. Phoebus. I guess Apollo was like, I'll send someone else instead. Okay. He started shooting. Then he started blasting. His silver bow let out a dreadful howl. First he attacked the mules and nimble dogs. Alright. Then turned his piercing weapon upon the men, and pyres were always burning, piled with corpses. For 9 long days the guards' darts flew through the camp, and on the 10th Achilles called the troops to gather at the meeting place. This thought was put into his mind by white-armed Hera, because the goddess cared about the Greeks. She saw that they were dying. When the men were gathered and assembled for the meeting, swift-footed Lord Achilles stood and spoke. Okay. Now, Agamemnon, son of Atreus, if we are crushed by war and plague at once, we will be forced to swivel round again and go back home to save ourselves from death. But come now, we must ask a priest or prophet or somebody who knows the way of dreams, for certainly dreams come to us from Zeus, to tell us why Apollo is enraged, He may be angry at a broken vow or lack of lavish offerings to him. Hold on. Hold, please. Oh, is the priest with... Okay, Achilles and Agamemnon are fighting. And then the priest, I understand. Apollo was shooting everybody. Not just Agamemnon. Or maybe they haven't started fighting yet. Let me keep reading and find out. Okay. He may be angry at a broken vow or lack of lavish offerings to him. He may accept the fat of sheep and goats, and turn this plague away from us. With that, Achilles sat back down again, and Calchas, the son of Thestor, stood. He was by far the best interpreter of signs from birds. Me too, man. The Iliad broken up by occasional confused commentary. Listen, it's real. Listen, I'm a speaker for the people. He was by far the best interpreter of signs from birds. He knew the past, the present, and the future. He was the guide who brought the fleet to Troy through skill and prophecy bestowed on him by Lord Apollo. With goodwill, he spoke. Achilles, favorite of Zeus, you tell me to speak about the wrath of Lord Apollo, the distant archer god, and I will do so, if you swear that you will keep me safe. Protect me with your actions and your words. I am afraid I may enrage a man who has great power over all the Greeks, whom everyone follows and obeys. Is Agamemnon? Achilles called the troops. Is he talking to Agamemnon currently? Achilles called the troops together. This thought. Well, I guess Agamemnon is there. Okay. Anyway. A leader is more powerful and stronger when he is angry with a lesser man. He may consume his anger for that day, but he will keep the grudge inside his belly until at last he acts on it. So tell me if you will keep me safe. And in reply, swift-footed Lord Achilles said to him, I love it, like, this guy's fast. Do not forget that Lord Achilles is swift-footed. If it's the last thing you do, do not fucking forget that. You do not need to worry now. Speak freely and tell us what you know about the gods. By Lord Apollo, the dear son of Zeus, to whom you pray when you reveal to us the gods' intentions. Calchas, this I swear. No one will lay a heavy hand on you beside the hollow ships, not while I live and see the light. Not one of all the Greeks will harm you, even if you speak about Lord Agamemnon, who now styles himself the best by far of all the Greeks. At this, the seer took courage and replied, the god is not upset about a broken vow, or lack of lavish offerings to him. It is the priest who Agamemnon scorned, whose daughter he would not give back for ransom. That is the reason that the archer god gives us these troubles, and will give yet more. He will not drive away this deadly plague that now afflicts the Greeks till Agamemnon returns the bright-eyed woman to her father without a ransom or reward, and carries a hecatomb to Chryse. Hecatomb. I'm looking that up. What is a hecatomb? Is it like a fun plate? Hecatomb. Hecatomb. A hecatomb. Oh, it's a sacrifice, a massive slaughter, or a large loss of life. Oh, because the word comes from the Greek words for 100, an ox. Well, damn. Okay, I thought it was like a fun like a not a tablet, but you know when it's like, it sounds like something that's like a cuneiform tablet. Like that's what it sounds like. It's fucking a mass sacrifice. So I was a little mistaken. Okay, that's why we look things up. All right. Okay. It turns the bright-eyed woman to her father without a ransom or reward, and carries a hecatomb to Chryse. Then we may appease the god. With this, he sat back down. But Agamemnon, son of Atreus, the mighty lord and warrior, stood up, aggrieved, his black heart full of furious rage. His eyes shone bright as fire. He scowled at Calchas and said to him, You prophet of disaster! Your words have never done me any good. You always love foretelling pain and trouble, but you have never mentioned or fulfilled one single good thing. Now you tell the Greeks more tales about the wishes of the gods. You claim the archers laid this pain on us because I did not want to take the ransom. I want the girl Chryses in my home. I look... God, I hate this guy. I like her more than my own Clytemnestra, my wife. This guy's crazy. He's like, yeah, I like this woman more than my wife, and what? I'm not giving her back. Like, he's such a fucking freak. I want this girl in my home. It's also crazy. You see, she is no worse than her in figure, height, intelligence, or skill, but I'm still prepared to give her back. Wow, how kind of you, Agamemnon. If that is best. I want the army safe, not dead. Now go, find me another trophy. I hope it doesn't mean another woman. Now go, find me another trophy, so I'm not the only Greek commander who lacks a trophy. That would be unfair. You can all see my trophy going elsewhere. You can all see my trophy going elsewhere. Swift-footed. Guys, I swear to God if you forget that he's fast. Swift-footed Lord Achilles answered him. Lord Agamemnon, son of Atreus, no one is more acquisitive than you. Acquisitive? I feel like I maybe don't know what that means, because is he being sassy? Right here. Acquisitive implies both eagerness to possess and ability to acquire and keep. An eagerly acquisitive mind. Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like, is he being sassy here? I don't know. I don't know Lord Achilles yet, but it seems like maybe he could. Lord Agamemnon, son of Atreus, no one is more acquisitive than you. How can the valiant Greeks give you a trophy? We see no heaps of treasure lying around ready to be divided up. The wealth that we have looted from the neighboring towns has been shared out, and it would be unfair to make the warriors return it all. You have to send this woman to the god at once. One day we Greeks will pay you back with treasure worth 3 times as much, or 4, if ever Zeus grants us the chance to take the high-walled town of Troy. Lord Agamemnon answered and said to him, God-like Achilles. Damn, glazing Achilles. However brave and skillful you may be, stop playing tricks, and do not try to rob me. You will not make me do as you propose, and you will never get ahead of me. You obviously want to keep your trophy and leave me sitting here with none at all. Are they talking about women or, like, physical trophies? I thought he was talking about women at first, but now I think he's talking about actual, like, a participation award. You obviously want to keep your trophy, unless Achilles also has a woman. Like, who knows? Never meet your heroes. Okay. Are you commanding me to give her back? You obviously want to keep your trophy and leave me sitting here with none at all. Are you commanding me to give her back? Fine. If the Greeks provide another trophy to satisfy my heart and make it fair. But if they do not give me one, I shall come and seize a trophy for myself. Your trophy. Or that of Ajax, or Odysseus mentioned. Or that of Ajax, or Odysseus. The man I visit will be furious. We will discuss all this another time. But come now, let us drag this black ship down and launch it on the bright salt sea, and gather a crew of rowers, and then stow aboard the Hecatombs in beautiful Chryses. One council member needs to go and lead them. Perhaps godlike Odysseus, or I guess he just calls everyone godlike. Godlike Odysseus, or Ajax, or Idomeneus, or you, Achilles, the wildest, most aggressive man alive. This leader must appease the god of distance by making proper sacrifice to him. Swift-footed Lord Achilles. Take a shot every time Achilles is described as swift-footed. Swift-footed Lord Achilles scowled and said, Incredible. Incredible. Lovely. Hold on, I'm gonna fix my hair real quick. Quick pause in the Iliad to fix my new hair. It's so short. Oh, life is so beautiful. My hair's finally short again. Okay. And we're back. Incredible. You dress in shame. You are obsessed with getting profits for yourself. Ooh, get 'em. Which of the Greeks would willingly agree to make a trip because you told them to, or fight against the enemy for you? I did not come to Troy because I wanted to fight against the warriors of Troy. They never did me any harm at all. They never raided cows from me nor horses, nor blighted fertile... Sam? Is Sam home? I think he's home. That scared me. I thought someone was in my house. I think it's my boyfriend. That's really funny. Okay, I thought I heard something, but maybe I'm just crazy. Okay. I never want... Yeah, he doesn't want to fight the armies of Troy. They never raided cows from me nor horses, nor blighted fertile fields that feed the men of Pythia, far away across so many shadowy hills, reverberating seas. I came with you, you brazen cheat, to please you. Fucking get him, Achilles. Yeah. Yeah, Sam's definitely home. Okay. Otherwise, there's a really, really fucking loud ghost in my house. I came with you, you brazen cheat, to please you, to claim back compensation from the Trojans for Menelaus and for you, you dog face. But none of that means anything to you. You do not even care. And now you threaten to take away the trophy that I worked for, after the sons of Greece gave it to me. You always get a better one than mine when we sack any wealthy Trojan town. Okay, they're not talking about women, they're talking about actual things, thank God. Also, this is so, like, I know Agamemnon and Achilles are not brothers. I know, like, Agamemnon and Menelaus are brothers. But this would be in, like, you always get the better trophy than me. Like, you always get the better one than me, you know? You always get a better one than mine when we sack any wealthy Trojan town. My hands work hardest in the frenzied fighting, but when we share the spoils, you get much more. I come back to the ships worn out from battle with something valuable to me, but small. So I will go back home to Pythia now, in my curved ships, because that is much better. I will not stay here to be disrespected, serving up wealth and revenue for you. The girls are fighting. Okay. This is when I think their rift begins. And Agamemnon, lord of men, replied, "Then off you go, if that is what you want. I certainly would not be begging you to stay here at Troy for me. You see, I have plenty of other helpers at my side, ready to treat me with respect and honor, including Zeus, god of strategy. I hate you more than any other leader." I love this, because this is such a high school thing of like, well then leave, okay? I don't even like you. Like, I have so many other people that would rather be with me than you. Like, I love this. This is so good. This is so petty, I love it. I hate you more than any other leader, any of those whom Zeus protects and loves. You always relish war and fights and conflict. You may be strong, but some god gave you that. Go home. Don't call me. Don't come by my house. Go home. Take all your ships and your companions, and you rule your Myrmidons? Myrmidons. I do not care. To me, you are entirely unimportant. Your anger does not bother me at all. But this, I swear to you. Just as Apollo will take Chryses back away from me when I send her to him on my own ship, escorted by my very own companions, so I shall take your beautiful Briseis. It was a woman. They were talking about a woman. Achilles has a woman. Achilles, I was rooting for you. I didn't know you took a trophy. And that trophy was a woman. Fuck. Oh, God damn it. Alright. So I shall take your beautiful Briseis, your trophy. I myself will come and get her in person from your tent, so you will see how far superior I am to you. and other men will shrink from talking back to me as if we were on equal terms." At this, Achilles, son of Peleus, was deeply troubled, and his innocent heart, and his inmost heart, inside his hairy chest. Right, his hairy chest. All right, I just hit my entire desk with my chair. Yo, chill. Oh, it's because my chair was underneath my desk, and I just tried to raise it up, and it just fucked up my whole shit. Where was I? His hairy chest. Yes. Where was I? All right. Okay, yeah. His inmost heart, inside his hairy chest, was split in two, as he considered whether he should draw the sharp sword that was hanging by his thigh and rouse his men and slaughter Agamemnon, or curb his anger and restrain his impulse. And as he pondered in his mind, he started to draw the mighty blade out from its sheath. But then Athena swooped down from the sky. She had been sent forth by the white-armed goddess Hera, who loved both men. Hera, get your shit together, these are not great men. Athena stood behind Achilles, son of Peleus, and grabbed him by his chestnut hair. She was invisible to everyone but him. Achilles, startled, turned and recognized Athena. She had bright, unearthly eyes. His words flew out. "Why have you come here, daughter of Zeus, the god who holds the royal aegis? Was it to see the cruel violence of Agamemnon, son of Atreus? I tell you, this will surely come to pass. Soon he will die for all his arrogance." Gray-eyed Athena said, "I came from heaven to hold your fury back. If you will listen, the white-armed goddess Hera sent me here because she loves and cares for both of you. Now stop this quarrel, do not draw your sword. Taunt him with words and tell him what will happen. I promise you that this will be fulfilled. You will receive 3 times as many gifts one day because you suffered this affront. Listen to me, hold back." All right. And in reply, swift-footed Lord Achilles said to her, "Goddess, when you two speak, a man must listen. However furious his heart may feel, it is the better choice. The gods take heed of those who show obedience to them." Grasping the silver hilt with his strong hand, he pushed the big sword back into its scabbard. He did not disobey Athena's words, and she rejoined the gods on Mount Olympus inside the house of Aegis-bearing Zeus. What is Aegis? I feel like I should know. What is it? Aegis. 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 Oh, it's like a shield. Okay. Aegis is a device carried by Athena and Zeus, variously interpreted as an animal skin or a shield, and sometimes featuring the head of a gorgon. Thank you, Wikipedia. Okay, cool. Heard. Oh, ow. Did I just turn the page? Yes, Aegis-bearing Zeus. Achilles, son of Peleus, again berated Agamemnon with harsh words. His anger was not over yet. He said, "You dog face, drunk and heavy with your wine. You have the heart and courage of a deer. You never dare to put your armor on and march to battle with the common troops, or join the finest fighters on a raid. That seems like death to you. You much prefer to saunter through the mighty Greek encampment and steal from any man who speaks against you. Cannibal king, you eat your people up." Dude, Achilles is ripping him to fucking shreds. "You are a leader of non-entities. Otherwise, Agamemnon, this would be the very last time you abuse someone. And I shall swear to you a mighty oath. By this staff here, which will not grow more leaves or branches. It was cut upon the mountain and left its stump behind." What? "And this staff here, which will not grow more leaves or branches. It was cut upon the mountain and left its stump behind, and it will never sprout with fresh shoots, because the bronze has stripped its leaves and bark. And now the sons of Greece pick up the staff and hold it in their hands when they are passing judgments to protect the customs and the laws that come from Zeus. By this I swear to you a mighty oath. The Greeks will The Greeks will all be longing for Achilles one day, and you will have no power to help, and you will grieve, and many men will die at Hector's murderous hands. Then you will tear your heart inside you in a bitter rage, because you failed to pay the best Greek fighter proper respect. Damn. All right. I mean, that's a fucking pretty big threat, babe. Pretty big threat, babe. You've just condemned a lot of people to death. Achilles spoke these words, hurled to the ground the golden-studded scepter, and then sat down himself. Across from him, the son of Atreus, Lord Agamemnon, was seething in his wrath. Among them, Nestor, the eloquent, clear speaker, Lord of Pylos, stood up to talk. His fluent voice poured sweeter than honey from his tongue. 2 generations of mortal men had grown and lived with him, and passed away, and now he ruled the third in holy Pylos. With good will he spoke, and said to the assembly, "This is dreadful. What pain is coming to the land of Greece? Priam and Priam's sons and all the Trojans would be delighted if they learned you two, the best of all the Greeks, at war and council, are quarreling among yourselves like this. But you must listen now to my advice. Both of you are much younger than I am. I have spent time and days gone by with men who were superior to both of you. Work. And those great men did not look down on me. I never saw their like. I do not now." Damn. That's actually kind of beast. I never saw their like. I do not now. He was like, y'all ain't shit. Love that. Love that. I used to know Prithios, and Dryas, the shepherd of the people, Caeneus, Exodus, and godlike Polyphemus, and Theseus. Polyphemus. Isn't that the name of the Cyclops in the Odyssey? Isn't that Polyphemus? I have no idea. And Theseus, like the ship, who seemed like an immortal. Those were the strongest men alive on earth. They fought the strongest mountain beasts and killed them. I was in distant Pylos, but they asked me to join them, and alone I went to battle. No man on earth today could fight with them. But they paid heed to my advice and listened and did as I advised. So you should also listen to me. Obedience is best. You, Agamemnon, are a mighty man, but do not take that woman. Leave her be. Love this guy. Thank you. Leave her be. The Greeks gave her to him to be his trophy. Alright, I was on your team, but now he's like, do not take that woman. She's not yours. She's Achilles. Like, it's just fucking, I gotta get over this. This is an old fucking book. Women are not gonna be treated well. I can't keep harping on it. Okay. And you, Achilles, son of Peleus, do not confront a ruler face to face. A ruler with a staff who has been granted glory by Zeus receives a special status. So even if you are the stronger man, and even though a goddess was your mother, I feel like I knew this, but that's still crazy. He is more powerful because he rules over a much larger group of people. But son of Atreus, Lord Agamemnon, restrain your rage. Give up your furious anger against Achilles. Please, I beg of you. He is the great defense for all the Greeks against a horrific war. Lord Agamemnon replied, Old man, all that is well and good, but this man wants to be superior to everybody else, to lead us all, to rule us all, and to give orders to everyone. In my opinion, nobody will comply with his commands. If deathless gods have made him good at fighting, must his insulting slander sprint ahead? Godlike Achilles interrupted him and said, I would be surely called a coward and a non-entity if I bowed down to follow you in everything you say. Go and give orders to other men, but do not ever tell me what to do. I am all done with listening to you. But I will tell you this. Take it to heart. I will not use my hands to fight with you about a woman. or with anyone, though you gave her to me, then took her back. But I will keep the other things I have, besides my swift black ship. You cannot come and steal a single one of them from me. So is he giving her the woman? Oh, damn. You cannot come and steal a single one of them from me. And if you try, let these men be the witness. Your black blood will soon spurt around my spear. With these aggressive words, the two men fought. Then both of them stood up, and so they ended the meeting of the Greeks beside the ships. Achilles, son of Peleus, went back to his own steady ships and his own tent, and with him went Patroclus. Okay. Patroclus. Patroclus? I feel like I've heard it pronounced a lot of ways. I always thought it was Patroclus, but now reading it, there's no E in his name. Patroclus. I'm gonna call him Patroclus, and if that's upsetting, I'm so sorry, but that's just how it looks to me. And with him went Patroclus and their men. And Agamemnon, son of Atreus, launched the swift ship to sea, chose 20 rowers, and drove the cattle for the god on board, and led fresh-faced Chryses to sit down. Artful Odysseus embarked as leader. Let's go Odysseus. And he's artful. Artful Odysseus embarked as leader. When everybody was aboard, they sailed across the ways of water. And meanwhile, son of Atreus, Lord Agamemnon, ordered the common troops to cleanse themselves. They did so, and then poured the dirty water into the salty sea, and sacrificed the perfect hecatombs of bulls and goats along the shore beside the barren sea to please Apollo. And the Savior twisted up through the smoke and rose into the sky. These were the tasks the men performed in camp. But Agamemnon did not stop the conflict. He carried out the threat that he had made against Achilles earlier, and ordered Eurybates and quick Talthybius. Wow, that one's actually crazy. Talthybius. Talthybus, who were his trusted messengers and aides. Go to Achilles' tent and take the hand of fine, fresh-faced Briseis. Bring her here, and if you will not give her up, I shall go there myself with more men, which will be the worse for him. Give it up, Delicious. Like, fucking relax. With these aggressive words, he ordered them. Unwillingly they went along the beach beside the barren sea, and reached the place in the Myrmidons were camped. They found him by his black ship, by his tent. Achilles was not pleased to see them come. Can't imagine he was. The men stood awestruck, frightened at the ruler, and did not speak to him or say a word. He understood, and said, Come in, and welcome. Heralds are messengers of Zeus and men. I do not blame you. I blame Agamemnon. He sent you here to get the girl Briseis. Go then, divine Patroclus, and bring the girl and let them take her. Let these two be witness to gods and mortals and that cruel lord, if one day I am needed to protect others from ruin. Now destructive thoughts seethe in his mind. He is incapable of planning for the near or distant future, till the Greeks fight safely by the ships. Patroclus did as his dear friend had asked, and brought fresh-faced Briseis from the tent, and gave her to the men to take away. They started walking back beside the ships. The woman walked unwillingly beside them. Damn. Meanwhile, Achilles went to sit alone, away from all his comrades, and he wept beside the salt gray water, looking out across the endless sea. He raised his arms and made a fervent prayer to his dear mother. Mother, you birthed me for so short a life that Zeus, high god of thunder, on Olympus, should give me glory at the very least, but I get nothing. Now this Lord of Lords, this Agamemnon, son of Atreus, has disrespected me. He took my trophy. He seized it and now he keeps it for himself. I love that this is framed as like, it's agonizing, praying to the gods, but it really is just him be like, Mom, Agamemnon took my thing, and now he's taking it for himself and he won't give it back. Like, that is quite funny. But he is crying, so, you know what? Good for him. Real men cry. Let's go. need some water. It's so hot I have a fan blowing directly on me, but the thing about that is it makes my throat dry. Crazy. The things I do. He spoke through tears. His goddess mother heard him, down in the salty depths where she was sitting beside her father. Who was her dad? Who was his mother? I don't know. But I guess a daughter of Poseidon if she's sitting down in the water beside her father. Instantly she rose out of the dim salt water like a mist and sat beside him as he wept, and touched him, stroking him with her hand, and said his name, and spoke and asked him, "Child, why are you crying? What pain has touched your heart? Do not conceal it. Tell me, and let us both know." Sobbing hard, swift-footed, Lord Achilles said, "You know. Why ask me this when you know everything? We went to Thebes, sacked the holy town of Eton, and looted everything. The sons of Greece divided up the spoils equitably, and gave fresh-faced Chryses to Agamemnon, son of Atreus. But Chryses was the father of Chryseis. So the girl's name was Chryseis. Her father's name was Chryses. Jesus Christ. A priest of Lord Apollo, distant archer. And so this priest approached the swift Greek ships. Swift Greek ships is hard to say. And faced the warriors bedecked in bronze to free his daughter with a countless ransom. He removed his sacred diadem, the emblem of the distant god Apollo, and held it wrapped around a golden staff, and prayed to all the Greeks, and most especially to the pair of men who brought the troops to Troy, the sons of Atreus. The others all agreed that they should accept the lavish ransom, and show respect and reverence to the priest. But this proposal did not please the heart of Agamemnon, son of Atreus. He spoke to him aggressively and sent him harshly away. The old man was enraged. He left the Greeks and prayed to Lord Apollo. Apollo heard his prayer. He left the priest and shot his veiled arrows at the Greeks. The people kept on dying as his weapons flew everywhere, all through the great Greek camp. The prophet knew the archer's god's intentions, and told us, and at once I said we must appease the god. But rage seized Agamemnon. He jumped up right away and made a threat, which now has been fulfilled. The bright-eyed Greeks are taking her by swift ship back to Chryse. It's all in, with offerings for the god. Just now his heralds came to my tent and took the girl, Briseis, the one the sons of Greece had given me. But mother, throw your arms around your child and save me and protect me if you can. Go up to Mount Olympus, pray to Zeus, if you've ever helped him in the past, and please his heart by any word or deed. I often heard you in your father's halls claim that you're the only deathless god who saved the son of Kronos, the storm god Zeus, from ruin, when others on Olympus, Hera, Poseidon, and Athena, tried to bind him. Goddess, you released his chains. You quickly summoned up to a high Olympus the 100-handed giant, who was named Boreas among the gods, but humans name him Aegon. Again, George R. R. Martin, I'm seeing where you get your shit. You called him because his strength is even greater than that of his father's. He sat by Zeus, exultant in his glory. The gods who live at ease were terrified and gave up their attempt to chain up Zeus. You must remind them now about all this. Go sit beside him, touch his knees, and ask him to help the Trojans and to trap the Greeks between the ships and salty sea to die, so all of them can profit from their ruler. And Agamemnon, son of Atreus, can recognize his own insanity. He paid the best Greek fighter no respect. Okay. So he's telling his mom to go talk to Zeus, to trap the Greeks, to power up the Trojans, who they just fought, mind you, just to pin down Agamemnon. And then when Agamemnon was like, I'm pinned, I need help, Achilles, come help, Achilles can be like, no, you're insane. I told you this would happen, and now I told you I wasn't gonna help, so get fucked. which is crazy to me because it's like, are you not a... he's literally like, he paid the best Greek fighter no respect. You are literally preying on the downfall of your own people. I guess it's only Agamemnon's men, but are you not also Greek? Just saying. Like, he's literally like switching teams because he was wronged. That's crazy. Oh, this is... his mom's name is Thetis. Thetis. Thetis in tears replied, "My boy, my child, why did I birth you for such suffering? Damn. Why did I mother you, take care of you? I wish you could sit quietly by your ships and never have to suffer tears or trouble, because it is your destiny to live so very short of time. Not long at all. But even as your death runs fast behind you, you are the most unhappy man alive. A curse attended at your birth. I shall go to Olympus where the snow lies deep and talk to Zeus, who loves the thunderbolt. I hope I can persuade him. And meanwhile, sit by your ships and rage against the Greeks, and stay entirely away from war. Yesterday, Zeus went off to Ocean, not the ocean, capital O, Ocean. Zeus went off to Ocean, joining the noble Ethiopians for a feast. The gods all went with him, but in 12 days he will come back again to Mount Olympus. Then I shall go inside the house of Zeus, and stand upon the pavement of bronze, and take him by the knees, and supplicate him. I think I shall persuade him." With these words she went away and left Achilles there, still angry in his heart about the woman, taken by force from him against his will. Yeah, isn't that awful to have something taken away from you against your will? It's crazy. It's almost as bad as being taken against your will. Alright, I'll let it go. Meanwhile, Odysseus had come to Chryse, bringing the hecatomb. When they had sailed inside the deep recesses of the harbor, they furled the sails and packed them in the ship, quickly pulled down the mast with the stays, and set it inside its holder, then rowed to shore. They cast the anchor stones and tied the ropes to stern, then disembarked in breaking waves. They drove the 100 cattle off the ship to offer to the archer god Apollo. Chryseis also left the quick black ship, and then Odysseus, the mastermind of strategy, led her towards the altar, into her loving father's arms, and said, "Chryseis, Commander Agamemnon sent me to bring your daughter, to sacrifice a holy hecatomb on our behalf, to mollify Apollo, who has cast a terrible catastrophe upon us." He handed her into her father's arms. My elbows. He handed her into her father's arms, who joyfully received his darling daughter. The men soon set the cattle around the altar, and cleansed themselves and sprinkled barley grains. Chryse's arms lifted, loudly prayed for them. Silver Bow, guardian of Chryse, lord of holy Scylla and of Tenedos, As once before you listened to my prayers, and honored me and overwhelmed the Greeks, so now fulfill for me this new request. Drive off their deadly plague. Apollo heard him. The men prayed too, and sprinkled barley grains, pulled back the cattle's heads and slit their necks, and skinned them, and cut off the thighs, and laid 2 strips of fat across them, with raw meat on top. The old man burned them on a log, and poured the flashing wine as a libation. The young man at his side held 5-pronged forks. They burned the thighs and ate the inner parts, and carved the rest, and put the meat on spits, and roasted it with care, and then drew it off. They finished the work with making food, then ate, and everybody had his share. But when the hunger and their thirst were sated, the boys filled full the wine bowls, and they made libations, and they filled every cup. All day the young Greeks pacified the god with dancing and with singing lovely hymns to appease Apollo. And the archer god heard and was glad at heart. But when the sun set and the darkness came, they all lay down to sleep beside the cables of the ship. When rosy-fingered dawn appeared newborn, they made their way toward the Greek encampment. towards the Greek encampment. Apollo, distant archer, sent fair wind. They raised the mast and let the white sail fly. The wind filled up the belly of the sail. The frothing wave crashed loudly round the stern, as the ship sped on. What? The frothing wave crashed loudly round the Oh, not stern, stem. The frothing wave crashed loudly round the stem, as though the ship sped on and reached her destination. When the men arrived at where the large Greek army was encamped, they dragged the black ship onto shore, high up on the sand, and set long props beneath. Then they dispersed to their own tents and ships. But all the while, swift-footed Lord Achilles, the son of Peleus, whom Zeus had favored, still sat beside his ships and seethed with wrath. He never went to council where men gain glory, nor into battle. He stayed there and wore his heart away. He longed for war and battle cries. But when the 12th dawn came, the gods who live forever, led by Zeus, came back to Mount Olympus. Meanwhile, Thetis had not forgotten what her son had asked. In misty morning from the waves she rose up to the sky and up to Mount Olympus. She found the mighty son of Cronos, Zeus, whose voice extends around the world, alone, sitting upon the very highest peak among the many ridges of Olympus. I'm just thinking of the Empire State Building, I just think of Percy Jackson's Olympus. She sat before him, her right left hand is what I was just about to say. Nope. She sat before him, and her left hand grasped his knee. Her right hand touched beneath his chin. She begged him, Father Zeus, if I have ever helped you in word or deed among the gods, fulfill this prayer for me, and glorify my son, whose fate runs faster after him than any mortal's. Now Lord Agamemnon has disrespected him. He took his trophy to keep himself. Wise Zeus, Olympian, honor him. Give the Trojans power until the Greeks respect my son and grant him glory. I mean, that's crazy to ask. My son's feelings were hurt, so I think you should restart a war. You should make this war worse until they respect my son. Work. Cloud-gathering Zeus did not reply, but sat for a long time in silence. Thetis stayed there, kept on grasping at his knees, as if grafting herself to grow there. Finally she spoke a second time. Make me this vow, a solemn promise, and then nod to it, or else refuse, because you have no fear. Then I will know for sure that I am the god most disrespected out of all of us. Damn. She's like, you hate me so bad. If you say no, it's because you hate me so bad. It's just confirmation how much you hate me. Then Zeus, who gathered clouds, was deeply troubled, and said to her, You've imposed on me a dreadful task, to make an enemy of Hera, who is always scolding me. The old ball and chain. Among the deathless gods, she always blames me, and says I helped the Trojans in the war. You have to leave now, in case Hera sees you, but I will try my best to grant your wish. So that you will trust me, I shall nod, my firmest guarantee among the gods. When I have nodded with my head, my word is trustworthy, irrevocable, sure. What I have promised must be carried out. With this, the son of Cronos bowed his head, with storm-dark brows. The god's immortal hair flowed from his deathless head and shook Olympus. Fucking baller. I gotta say, the descriptions in this poem, very good. I'm really enjoying it. Thank you, Emily. Alright. Humiliating. Okay. Where was I? Oh, I'm trying not to face my fan so I don't dry up my throat, because I need to keep reading. I just muted myself on next. Work. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. The gods god's mortal hair flowed from his deathless head and shook Olympus. The mating between Zeus and Thetis finished. They parted. She leapt down from bright Olympus into the deep salt sea, and Zeus returned to his own house. No god dared hesitate when he arrived. They leapt up from their chairs to greet their father right away. Then he sat on his throne. As soon as Hera saw him, she realized that silver-footed Thetis, child of the old sea god, so not Poseidon, the old sea god, had plotted with him. Immediately she scolded Zeus. Also, I like that his mom is described as silver-footed when Achilles is swift-footed. So that's kind of cool. They got some cool feet thing going on in their family tree. Which god has schemed with you this time, you clever trickster? You always love to make these secret plans without me, and you never dared to tell me openly what you have in mind. The father of humans and of gods replied, Do not, Hera, expect to know all my intentions. They are too difficult to understand, even for you, although you are my wife. When there is something suitable to tell, no one will know about it before you, not god nor human. But when I decide to keep a secret from other gods, you must not question me or ask about it. Then ox-eyed Hera said, Ox-eyed? I guess I don't really know what ox-eyes look like. Aren't ox-eyed daisy something? There's an ox-eyed daisy. So, I'm actually gonna look at this. I want to know what ox-eyed are. If that's what Hera looks like. Ox-eyed. Yeah, there's an ox-eyed daisy. Ox-eyed. Having eyes like those of an ox. Yeah, okay, I got that. But, having large round eyes. Large full eyes. Okay, she's like, okay. Big ol' eyes. So Hera has big eyes. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. Then ox-eyed Hera said, Most fearful Zeus, what do you mean? What do you mean? I never ask you questions. You think whatever thoughts you like in peace. And yet I fear that silver-footed Thetis, the sea god's daughter, may have talked and turned you. She came at dawn and sat in front of you and took your knees. I think you bowed your head and promised you would glorify Achilles, destroying many men besides the ship. Can she read minds, or was she snooping? Was Hera? I guess Hera. What is she like the goddess of? I know she's like the mother of all gods because it's Zeus's wife. But like, you know, Zeus is like the father, but he's also like, you know, lightning and shit. Bringer of clouds and sky domain. But what does Hera do? Is she like a spy? Because how the fuck does she know this? How she like? I love that she also asked the question of like, so who are you talking to? Even though she knew full well who it was and what they talked about. Kind of love it. Kind of gotta respect it. Respect the grind. I keep moving my mic, so hopefully this audio is not horribly inconsistent. Okay. Then Zeus, who gathers clouds together, answered, You startle me. You startle me. You always have your notions. I never get away with anything. You never let me get away with anything. You always have your notions. Oh, I'm using clip as a elbow rest. I'm spinning. Oh, the spinny chair is spinning. I never get away with anything. But still, your actions will accomplish nothing, except to make me even more enraged. And that will surely be the worst for you. If this did happen, it was as I wished. Sit down, be quiet, and do as I say. Seems like a piece of shit. Seems like a horrible husband. Yahoo! I mean, I probably could have told you that Zeus is a horrible husband. I don't think I needed the Iliad to tell me that. I think that's kind of common knowledge, I fear. Okay. Oh, this isn't much more comfortable. Oh, you can see the book. Ooh. Okay. The others on Olympus will not help you when I lay overpowering hands upon you. Zeus is going to lay his hands upon his wife? Yikes. The ox-eyed goddess Hera was afraid. She sat down quietly and quelled her rage. Within the house of Zeus on Mount Olympus, the gods were worried, and the famous craftsman Hephaestus spoke up to support his mother, the white-armed goddess Hera, whom he loved. It will be terrible, unbearable, if you two fight like this because of mortals, and cause a ruckus, ruining our pleasure in noble feasting. Baser things prevail, so I advise my mother, she herself already knows that it is for the best, to help dear Father Zeus, so he will not scold her again and so disturb our feast. If the Olympian Lord of Lightning wants to hurl us from our seats, he can do so. He is the strongest of us all, by far. So, Mother, talk to him with gentle words, and soon he'll be kind to us again. This is so sad. Then he picked up a double-handled cup, and handed it to his dear mother, saying, "Be patient, Mother. Though you are upset, restrain yourself. I cannot bear to see my mother, whom I love so very much, beaten before my eyes. I could not help you, although I would be very sad about it. Zeus the Olympian is hard to challenge. One time before, when I tried helping you, he seized my foot and hurled me from the threshold of heaven. All day long I dropped. At sunset, I fell on Liminus, little short of death. The Cynicians took care of me." White-armed Hera was smiling. With a smile, she took the cup from her son's hand. He drew sweet nectar out of the bowl and poured it left to right for all other gods who live at ease. Ebullient laughter rose among the group, watching Hephaestus bustle around the hall. All day till sunset at the feast they shared the food out equally, and also shared the beauty of the lyre. Apollo held it. The muses sang, exchanging lovely voices. But when the dazzling sun had set, they went to their homes to sleep. Each one was built with skill and cleverness by great Hephaestus, a famous artisan whose legs are bent. But Zeus Olympian, the lord of lightning, went to his own bed, where he always lay when sweet sleep came upon him. There he slept, with Hera of the golden throne beside him. That is the end of Book 1 of the Iliad. Book 2. Let me get some water. Alright, so to recap, Book 1, Agamemnon and Achilles were sacking Troy, or were sacking villages around Troy. Each took a woman. One of the women's dad was like, "No, give her back." And Agamemnon was like, "No, heart, shan't." But did anyway, because Apollo was like, "Fuckers, do it." And then, because he was so mad, he was like, "Achilles, I'm gonna take your woman." And Achilles is like, "I literally ask for nothing. Ever. Like, why can't I just have her?" Which is crazy. Where he's like, especially with the line, which is why I was like, "Oh, they're not talking about women," because he was like, "You know, like my trophy is worth less than yours. Like, why would you even need? But it means a lot to me. So like, why do you want to take it?" He was talking about a woman. He was talking about a human being. Men are crazy. Anyway, Book 2, The Multitude. The Multitude. Let us begin. All through the night the men who master horses slept, and the gods slept too, except for Zeus. No gentle slumber seized him, and his heart was wondering how he could glorify Achilles and bring death to many men beside the Greek ships. So he formed a plan to send a deadly dream to Agamemnon, the son of Atreus. His words flew out. "Rush to the swift Greek ships." The amount of times it's going to say swift Greek ships is pissing me off. It's good. It's pissing me off just because I can't say it. Swift Greek ships. Well, I kind of nailed it then. Ow. Okay. Rush to the swift Greek ships, destructive dream, and go inside the tent of Agamemnon. Convey precisely what I say to him. Tell him he has to arm the long-haired Greeks at once. Now is the moment he can capture the Trojan city with its spacious streets. The deathless gods who live on Mount Olympus no longer disagree with one another. Hera appealed to them and changed their minds. Disaster has been fastened to the Trojans. Hearing these words, the dream dashed off at once, and quickly reached the swift Greek ships and found the son of Atreus inside his hut. I like that in this it's like he's just talking to a dream. Like it's a little like a it's like I like that like the dream is like personified as like a little thing that like he like whispers the dream like what he wants the dream to be and sends it and the little dream runs around until he finds the person. That's really cute. I love that. Oh. Okay, anyway, I was just thinking about that. I love it. Having hearing these words, the dream dashed off at once, and quickly reached the swift Greek ships and found the son of Atreus inside his hut. Immortal sleep was swirling all around him. The dream stood by his head and took the form of Nestor, son of Neleus, the elder whom Agamemnon held in greatest honor. In this man's likeness, the divine dream said, "You are asleep, great son of Atreus, the skillful horse lord." I love him. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. You are asleep. But a man who forms plans for the people who rely on him, who has so much responsibility, ought not to sleep all night. Now hear my voice. I am a messenger from Zeus, who loves you and pities you from far away. He says that you must arm the long-haired Greeks at once, because this is the moment you can capture the Trojan city with its spacious streets. The deathless gods who live on Mount Olympus no longer disagree with one another. Hera appealed to them and changed their minds. Disaster has been fastened to the Trojans by Zeus. Keep this in mind. Do not allow forgetfulness to seize you when the honey of sleep releases you. I love that Zeus is just fucking lying. He's just like, yeah, the Trojans, this is the night where you can take Troy. Like, relax. So spoke the dream and left him there. Then Agamemnon's heart imagined things that would not come to pass. He actually believed that they would capture the town of Priam on that very day. Poor fool. I love that the narrator's like, he's such a fucking idiot. Just like, damn, it sucks. I love it. There's commentary by this omniscient. But just this this narrator's like, poor fool. He did not know the plans of Zeus. He did not know the plans of Zeus. The god intended to bring pain and grief to both the Greeks and the Trojans through fierce fighting. The voice the gods had sent to Agamemnon suffused his senses when he woke from sleep. He sat up straight, put on a fine, soft tunic, new made, and wrapped his big cloak around himself, and tied his sandals to his well-oiled feet. He slung his swords adorned with silver studs across his back, took his ancestral staff, which never ages nor decays, and went beside the ships, among the bronze-clad Greeks. The goddess Dawn ascended high Olympus, announcing light to Zeus and all others who live forever. Meanwhile, Agamemnon ordered the clear-voiced heralds to assemble the Greeks with flowing hair. They gathered quickly. They made the valiant counselors sit down beside the ship of Priam Lord Nestor, then shared his clever strategy. I do like it's like that someone was like long-haired Greeks. They're just going around being like, "Is your hair long enough? No, not you. Is your hair long enough? Yeah, come on in. Like, everyone line up. Put down your hair. Now listen, my friends. One of the ambient forest noises is a woodpecker. That's so exciting. Okay. Now listen, my friends. Sam's cooking. I just sounded like a cartoon character. I'm like, what was that? Okay. Now listen, my friends. I had a marvelous dream that came through the ethereal night while I was sleeping. In its appearance, figure, size, and shape, it looked most similar to godlike Nestor. It stood above my head and said to me, "You are asleep, great son of Atreus." Oh, is he going to say the exact same thing again? The skillful horse lord, but a man who forms plans for the people who rely on him, With so much responsibility, ought not to sleep all night. I hear my voice. I am a messenger for Zeus. Yeah, he's going to say it bar for bar what he just said. Who loves you and pities you from far away. He says that you must arm the long-haired Greeks at once, because now is the moment you can capture the Trojan city with its spacious streets. The deathless gods who live on Mount Olympus no longer disagree with one another. Hera appealed to them and changed their minds. Disaster has been fastened to the Trojans by Zeus. Keep this in mind. With that, the dream flew off, and so was gone. And then sweet sleep released me. So come on now. We must call the sons of Greece to arms. But first, I shall test them myself with words, as it is the custom, and order them to row the fleet away. Meanwhile, you call them from the other side and try to hold them back. What? Sorry, what? Okay. We must call the sons of Greece to arms. That makes sense. That's a sentence. But first, I shall test them myself with words, as it is the custom, and order them to row the fleet away. Meanwhile, you call them back from the other side and try to hold them back. What? So he's okay. He wants to test his soldiers. He's like, test them, as is custom. Test them with words. So he's gonna order them to row the whole fleet away. At the same time, have the council call from the other side, try to hold them back to see like who they listen to. Well, I guess that makes sense. Like, who are they loyal to? Okay. He sat back down, and Nestor, who was lord of sandy Pylos, stood up and spoke among them with good will. My friends, great lords and counselors of Greece, if any other Greek had told this dream, we would declare it false to turn away. But this is someone with a claim to be the best of all the Greeks. So now come on. We have to arm the fighters if we can. With that, he led them from the council meeting. The leaders with their staves in hand stood up and walked behind the shepherd of the people. The troops rushed out as swarms of bees come rushing out of a hollow rock, more always coming, and fly and cluster on the springtime flowers. Myriads here and there. So many swarms of men from ships and huts were marching out along the wide beach of the meeting place. Among them, Rumor burned. Rumor with a capital R. Rumor burned. She brought the news from Zeus and coaxed them on. Ooh, personified Rumor. Love that. The crowd assembled. The place was chaos, and the ground beneath them groaned as they sat. The noise was deafening. 9 heralds shouted at them to restrain them, to make them hush and listen to the leaders whom Zeus holds dear. At last the troops sat down and stopped their noise, submissive on their benches. Lord Agamemnon stood up, with a staff constructed by the craftsman god Hephaestus. Hephaestus had first given it to Zeus, the noble son of Cronos, and Zeus gave it to Hermes, lord and guide who once killed Argos, who gave it to the man who whipped his horses, Pelpos, and Pelpos gave it in his turn to Atreus, the shepherd of the people, who left it to Thestius, rich in lambs. Thestius passed it down to Agamemnon, to hold and rule an archipelago in all of Argos. Leaning on the staff, Lord Agamemnon spoke. My friends, Greek fighters, servants of Ares, Zeus, the son of Cronos, has bound me tight within a heavy curse. That cruel god once gave his nod to me, and I promised I would sack the sturdy walls of Troy and go home safe. But he has played an evil trick on me. He sends me home into Argos in dishonor, as the leader responsible for losing all these troops. I love that Agamemnon just loves lying. He lies for fun. He loves to play a little trick. This, I suppose, must be the will of Zeus, the mighty god who has destroyed so many majestic cities and will ruin more. He has the greatest power. This will be shameful when people in the times to come hear that so vast an army of the Greeks made war against so few with no result, in vain, achieving nothing. If both sides, the Greeks and the Trojans, could agree to swear firm oaths and offer sacrifice, count how many Trojans lived beside their hers, and all of us were grouped in sets of 10, picking a Trojan man for every group to pour our wine, then many groups would lack a server. By so much I say we Greeks outnumber all the Trojans living here. living here, but they have many allies bearing spears from many other towns who beat me back, preventing me from sacking this fine town. Great Zeus has let 9 years go by. The timbers and cables of our ships are rotten through. I forgot it was fucking like a 10-year long war. No reason. Our wives and little children sit at home waiting. Sit at home waiting, and still we have not done the work for which we came here. Listen, all of you, do as I suggest. Let us retreat. Let us leave here and sail back to our homes, the native lands we love. We can no longer expect to take the spacious streets of Troy. These words stirred every man within the crowd, except those who had heard the council meeting. The group was moved, as mighty waves at sea, beside Icaria, aroused by Ares and Notus, rushing from the clouds of Zeus, their father, or when Zephyr blasts thick wheat and bends the ears with blasts of boisterous wind. So the whole crowd was moving. With a yell, they dashed towards the ships. Beneath their feet, dust rose. They told each other, "Seize and drag the ships toward the bright sea. Dig the furrows." Their shouting greased the sky. They longed for home. They moved the props from underneath the ships, and then the homeward journey of the Greeks would have begun too soon, before due time, if Hera had not spoken to Athena. She said, "This is disastrous. Look, Athena, unwary child of aegis-bearing Zeus. Those Greeks will sail back home to their own country, riding the broad seas back, and leaving Helen mentioned. I pressed in the book on this. And leaving Helen for Priam and the Trojans to gloat over. So many Greeks have died for her at Troy, so distant from their own dear native lands. Now mingle with the bronze-clad warrior Greeks and coax each man with mollifying words. They must not drag those curving ships to sea." The goddess with flashing eyes, Athena, heard her and hurtled down from Mount Olympus, and swiftly reached the quick Greek ships, and found Odysseus. My ambiance stopped. Oh, I think. Yo, everyone. Alright, cool. I think my stream crashed. Work. Okay. Well, it's still recording, so hello to vaudeville. But hopefully my stream's back up. And my ambiance will start again soon. How sad. Well, I think it's because Sam tripped a breaker, which is very funny. I do think he did that, and I think it turned off our Wi-Fi. Anyway. Okay. So Athena, she's back. She's so fucking back. Alright. I like the idea hurtled down from Mount Olympus. Athena's just rocketing to and fro. Love that. Okay, she found Odysseus, whose cunning equals Zeus's. It's a fucking big honor. He had not touched his black ship set with benches, because his heart was troubled. With bright gaze, Athena stood near him and said, "Zeus-born, son of Laertes, master strategist, will you all run away like this, and fall upon the rowing benches of the ships? Will you go back to your dear fatherland and leave behind for Priam and the Trojans a glorious sign of triumph? Argive Helen, for whom so many Greeks have died at Troy, far from their homes? Go now among the army. Do not hold back. Speak calmly to each man and stop them. Do not let them drag the ships down to the sea." Athena told him this. He recognized the goddess by her voice and started running, tossing off his cloak. Eurybates, his Ithacan attendant, collected it. Odysseus approached the son of Atreus and took from him that everlasting scepter of his father's. With this he went beside the ships, confronting the bronze-clad front of the bronze-clad Greeks. Whenever he encountered an elite warrior, he stood beside him and spoke to calm him and to hold him back. A spirit has possessed you. You must not be frightened like a coward or a peasant. Sit down and make the others sit as well. You do not understand what Agamemnon intends to do. This is a test. He will soon smite the sons of Greece if they should fail. Do we not all hear what he said in council? Do not let him get angry and cause harm. Hi, Jason. What are we doing? How did I manage to come online and see you here? Hello. I think my stream just crashed and just re-upped, so I wonder if that's how you caught me. I'm reading the Iliad. It's exciting. Agamemnon's doing some shit. Do not let him get angry and cause harm. I didn't see a ping or anything. This way past my bedtime, so I literally was like, Nani? But, well, it's a bedtime story, so get all comfy and cozy and listen in if you would like. I know, it's like, you're like 3 hours ahead of me. Oh yeah, it's... well, this is the perfect thing. Well, snuggle up. Get excited, because I think things are about to get crazy. Great is the willfulness of rulers who enjoy the god's protection, because their honor comes from Zeus, and Zeus, the god of strategy, loves them so much. Almost midnight. Go to bed. I'm like a 10:30, kind of like in bed by 10:30. That's why I'm like, bedtime stream, 6:30 p.m. But when he saw and heard a common man shouting, he used his staff to beat them back, and called to him with orders and commands. A spirit has possessed you. Now sit down, be quiet, pay attention to your betters. Odysseus, relax. You are a coward and unfit for battle, worthless in war and worthless in the council. We cannot all be rulers in this army. It is not good for many to share power. Only one man should rule and be a master. The man on whom the son of crooked Kronos, Zeus, has bestowed the staff and laws by which the ruler makes the plans for other men. Damn. He's just like, you guys fucking suck, and you guys are pussies. So masterfully, he controlled the army. They left the ships and huts again and rushed back to the meeting place, just as when waves of loud, reverberating water crash onto the long shore, and the deep sea rumbles. The men sat down, submissive on their benches. Only foul-mouthed Thersites argued back. This man knew how to blather on for hours with pointless and irrelevant complaints against the rulers. Work. Anything he thought might raise a laugh among the other Greeks. Oh, he's the annoying class clown. Heard. He was the ugliest man. He was the ugliest man who marched on Troy. Like, relax. One of his legs was weak, the other twisted. His shoulders hunched across his chest. His head was pointy, and his sprouts of hair were sparse. Achilles and Odysseus especially loathed him, because he always scolded them. But now his piercing voice shot sharp reproofs at glorious Agamemnon, and the Greeks blamed him inside their hearts. They were enraged. Thersites yelled and cursed at Agamemnon. You, son of Atreus, what do you need? What is your grievance? You already have huts full of bronze and full of hand-picked women whom we Greek warriors assigned to you. You get first choice whenever we take towns. Do you need yet more gold? Some Trojan horse lord will bring it out of Troy to free his son, captured by me or by some other Greek and brought to you. Or do you need a woman, a young one, to have sex with you? Okay. Or do you need a woman, a young one, to have sex with and to keep all for yourself? It's not right for you, a leader, to involve the Greeks in ruin. Sweethearts, you are a terrible disgrace. Greek girls, not men. Now let us sail back home with all the ships and leave this man behind. Let him consume his winnings here at Troy, so he can see if we helped him or not. Just now he brought dishonor to Achilles, who is a better man than him by far. He took his trophy from him, has kept it. No anger lurks inside Achilles' heart. he lets things go. If he were more persistent, this would have been the last time, Agamemnon, you would have treated anyone so badly. I mean, like, he's not wrong. He did dishonor Achilles. Like, Thersites is spitting a little bit. So spoke Thersites as he criticized the shepherd of the people, Agamemnon. Quickly, Odysseus stepped in and scowled and scolded him. You blabbermouth Thersites, you're quite marvelous at public speaking, but now shut up. You must not pick a quarrel alone against the rulers of the army. I love that. Shut up. You are the very worst, in my opinion, of all the mortal men who came to Troy with Agamemnon, son of Atreus. Jesus. Odysseus is like, out of everyone here, the tens and thousands of people, I hate you the most. Your mouth should never speak the names of rulers. You must not level insults at your betters, or look around for chances to get home. We do not know yet how these things will go, whether the sons of Greece will get home safe, or have a bitter journey. You sit there and criticize the son of Atreus, Lord Agamemnon, shepherd of the people, because the Greeks have given him so much. You keep complaining, but I tell you this, and swear that it will surely come to pass. If I find out that you continue acting as stupidly as you are doing now, I hope my head stops resting on my shoulders, and let Odysseus no more be called the father of Telemachus. Unless I grab you, rip your cloak and tunic off, expose your private parts, and beat you up, humiliating you with blows. Odysseus! Oh, those things. Damn, that's so funny. I swear, if you continue acting as stupidly as you are doing now, that is so funny. Unless I grab you, rip off your cloak and tunic off, exposing your private parts, and beat you up, humiliating you with blows. I shall force you to leave the meeting place and go back to the swift ships, weeping and ashamed. Like, yeah, what the fuck is he talking about, bro? Odysseus is literally like, stop being such a fucking dumbass. I'm gonna beat you up. You're stupid. What was that Dr. Phil quote? You're stupid. I hate you. You owe me $200. Like, with that, Odysseus began to use his staff to thrash Thersites on his shoulders till he hunched over sobbing. On his back, a bloody wheal popped up beneath a rod of gold. He sat down frightened and in pain, and helplessly he wiped away his tears. The men were troubled, but they smiled and laughed and told each other, "This is something special." Like, yeah. I love that they're like, well, this is certainly something. Like, Odysseus has often done great things. He forms good plans and marshals troops for war. But now he has performed his greatest service for all of us. He silenced that rude windbag. Thersites will not come back here again, led by his strong, proud heart to criticize the rulers with insulting words. So spoke the multitude. That's the name of books too, The Multitude. Title card. And then Odysseus, sacker of cities, straightened up and held his scepter high. Athena stood beside him, with flashing eyes. She looked just like a herald. She made the troops be silent, so that the Greeks, both those in front and those right at the back, could hear the speech and listen to his plans. He spoke among the people with goodwill and said, "My lord, great son of Atreus, the Greeks now want you to experience the worst disgrace of any man on earth. They mean to break the oaths they swore to you when they set out from Argos, land of horses. They would sack the sturdy walls of Troy before returning. Now they weep and wail, just like little boys or women struck by grief, because they want to go back home again. Our troubles would make anyone give up. A man who waits for just a single month, trapped on the beaches of his ships by gusts of winter storms and choppy surging seas, far from his wife, will surely grow impatient." We have been waiting here for 9 years now. I do not blame the Greeks for growing restless beside the curving ships, but it is shameful to stay so long and then go back with nothing. My friends, endure and wait a little while until we learn if Calchas has told the truth. Those of you not yet carried off by death are witnesses that lately, when Greek ships gathered at Iliad to bring pain to Priam and to the Trojans, we were sacrificing a perfect hecatomb for the immortals besides the holy altars. Underneath a lovely plane tree by a dazzling spring, the water spouted from the tree. Then came a miracle. A red-backed snake, a horror sent to the sunlight by Olympian Zeus, slipped slithering from underneath the altar towards the tree. The sparrow chicks were huddled upon the highest branch beneath the leaves. There were 8 chicks. The mother was the 9th. He ate the chicks, still piteously chirping. Their mother, squawking in her grief, flopped round her darling children. The snake entwined her and seized her by the wing and ate her up. When he had eaten her and all her children, then Zeus, the son of double-dealing Kronos, who had revealed the snake, converted him into a sign by turning him to stone. We stood there in amazement at these marvels. The sparrows and the snake had interrupted the holy hecatomb, and right away, Calchas the seer spoke up. Why are you silent, long-haired Greek warriors? Why Zeus has shown us a marvelous divine sign, slow to come and slow to be fulfilled, the fame of which will never die. Just as the snake devoured the sparrow and her children, 8 of them, their mother making 9, so we will fight this war at Troy for 9 years. In the 10th, we take the city with its spacious streets. He prophesied, and now it all comes true. So you must all stay here, well-armored Greeks, until we sack the mighty town of Priam. At this, the Greeks cheered loudly, and around them the ships resounded back a dreadful echo. They praised the speech of great Odysseus. Grinian Nestor Horseward spoke to them. This is appalling. You behave in council like little children, with no thought or care about the work of warfare. What will happen to all our oaths and pacts? Our plans, our counsels, right-hand shakes given as mark of trust and pure libations. All of them can burn. We bicker endlessly with all these speeches, wasting our time and finding no solution. You, son of Atreus, hold firm your purpose and lead the Greeks through every violent conflict, and death to any man or pair of men who form a separate plan which will not work, and go back to Greece before we learn if aegis-bearing Zeus will keep his word. I say that the almighty son of Kronos nodded his blessing on the day we Greeks set sail in our swift ships to carry ruin to all the Trojans. He sent bolts of lightning on our right hand, an omen of success, so no man ought to hurry back home before he shares a Trojan woman's bed, to pay for Helen's sufferings and struggles. But if some man is desperate to go home, then let him touch his black ship's rowing benches, and he can meet his fated end and die right in front of everyone. Now then, my lord, make your own plans, but hear me also. I tell you something not to be ignored. Pick men by tribe and kinship. Pick men by tribe and kinship, Agamemnon. So tribe helps tribe, and kinsmen help their kinsmen. If you do this, and all the Greeks obey, you will soon see which leaders and which men are cowardly, and which are brave and strong, because they will be fighting in their groups. So if you do not manage to take Troy, then you will know if it was heaven's will or human cowardice and ignorance of war. And almighty Agamemnon answered, You beat all other Greeks at council speeches. If only I had 10 men just like you to strategize with me, then certainly, by Father Zeus, Athena and Apollo, the city lord of Priam soon would crumble, captured and ruined by these hands of ours. But Zeus, the aegis-bearing son of Kronos, has given pain and suffering to me, embroiling me in quarreling and conflicts impossible for anyone to manage. Achilles and myself exchanged harsh words. We fought about a woman. I began it. I lost my temper, and I acted harshly. He's admitting that he started the fight. At least he can fucking admit, like, yeah, you know, I did in fact start this fight. Is he sorry at all? He says I lost my temper and I acted harshly. At least he can recognize that. But if one day we strategize together, the Trojans will have no relief from pain, not even for a moment. All of you. I didn't start the fire, but all of you, go eat your dinner and prepare for Ares. Sharpen your spears and lift your shields and feed the swift-footed horses. Check the chariots carefully, minds on war, so we can meet the test of cruel Ares all day long. There will be no break, even for a moment, until night comes and parts the eager fighters. The straps that hold your shield against your chest will sweat around your body, and your hand will weary as it grasps your sword. Your horse will sweat and strain to pull the gleaming carriage. But anyone I catch in the attempt to stay back here beside the curving ships and shirk from battle will not have a chance to save himself from hungry dogs and birds. At this, the warrior shouted, as the sea, roused up by notice, crashes on the rocks beneath the cliff, when gusts from all directions drive never-ending waves against the shore. The men jumped up, dispersed, and dashed away towards the ships. Smoke rose amid the huts as they made dinner. I'm hungry too. That sounds good. Each man sacrificed to one of the immortal gods and prayed that he would survive the struggle set by Ares. When Agamemnon, lord of men, had offered a fat bull, 5 years old, to mighty Zeus, he summoned all the finest of the Greeks, first Nestor and Lord Idomeneus, and then the 2 Ajaxes. There's 2 Ajaxes? Like, it wasn't already fucking complicated enough. There's 2 Ajaxes. The 2 Ajaxes, and Diomedes, and 6th, Odysseus, whose wily cunning could rival that of Zeus. And Menelaus, the master of the war cry, came to join his brother without needing to be called. He knew what Agamemnon had been doing. These leaders formed a circle around the bull, took some barley grains, and Agamemnon spoke in their midst. Almighty Zeus, great god of dark clouds, God in heaven, before sunset, before the shadows come, may I hurl down the hall of Priam, blacken it with smoke, and set his gates ablaze with deadly fire. And let my spear slice Hector's shirts to shreds, and may his multitude of friends and comrades fall to dust, their teeth sunk deep in the earth. But Zeus, son of Cronos, did not yet fulfill his prayer. He took the offering, but magnified their pain. When they had prayed and sprinkled barley, they pulled back the head and slit the throat, and skinned the animal, cut off the thighs, and covered them with fat, a double layer, with raw meat on top, and burned them on the leafless twigs. They put the innards on the spits and held them over the fire. Hephaestus. Once the thighs were burned, they ate the innards, chopped the rest, and put the meat on spits, and roasted it with care, then pulled it off. And once their work was done, the cookery complete, they ate their feast, and no one lacked an equal share. But after hunger and their thirst had been appeased, Granian Nestor, horse lord, spoke up first. Most honored Lord and Master Agamemnon, great son of Atreus, let us not stay assembled here for long. Let us not long postpone the task the god enjoins. Come on, let the heralds call the armies of the Greeks to gather by the ships dressed in all bronze. Let us together cross the great encampment and quickly waken Ares, god of war. The Kokiri complete. The Kokiri. Oh, missing Zelda hours. Come on. What was he saying? Oh yeah, Nestor was speaking. Let us not long postpone the task the god enjoins. Come on. Let the heralds call the army of the Greeks to gather by the ships dressed in all bronze. Let us together cross the great encampment and quickly waken Ares, god of war. Lord Agamemnon heeded him. At once he told the clear-voiced heralds they must summon the long-haired Greeks to battle, and they did so. The men were gathered quickly, and the rulers favored by Zeus, at Agamemnon's side, hurried to marshal them, In their midst, bright-eyed Athena held her special goatskin, the precious, ageless, and undying Aegis, from which 100 braided tassels flutter, each of pure gold, each worth 100 cattle. Wearing this cape, she dazzled as she swooped among the troops and urged the men. She roused in every heart the will to fight forever. At once, the thought of war became to them sweeter than sailing home in hollow ships, back to their native lands, the homes they loved. As deadly fires blazed through a forest across the mountain peaks, from afar the gleam was visible. So brightly shone the shimmering brightness of majestic bronze as men advanced. It reached through air to sky. Just as when many flocks of geese or cranes or long-necked swans take wing across the meadow in Lydia around the streams of Cayster, they soar in all directions, relishing their wings. Then with loud cries they swoop and settle, so that fen resounds with the noise. So many flocked to Scamander's plains from ships and tents. The earth was ringing with the dreadful din of feet and hooves. A multitude, which is the name of the chapter. Good night, Jason. Everyone say good night, Jason. A multitude assembled among the meadow flowers by Scamander, as many as the flowers and leaves in spring, as many as the throngs of buzzing flies, flittering round a sheepfold in the spring, when every canister is full of milk. So many long-haired Greeks stood on the plain, facing the Trojans, eager to destroy them. As goatherds easily divide large flocks mixed in the pasture, so the leader split the massive army into ranks and marshaled the men for war. And powerful Agamemnon stood in their midst. In his eyes and stature, he looked like thunder-loving Zeus. His waist was like the waist of Ares, and his chest was like Poseidon's, like a bull who stands supreme above the assembled herd of cattle. Just so Zeus made the son of Atreus supreme that day among so many fighters, the greatest of them all. Now tell me, muses, who have your houses high on Mount Olympus? Oh, speaking to the muses. Love this. I'm sweating so bad. Why is it so hot? Why is it so hot in the summer? Now tell me, muses, who have your houses high on Mount Olympus? For you are goddesses, and you are here, and you know everything. You see it all, while we can only listen to the stories. We have seen nothing, and we do not know. Who were the lords and leaders of the Greeks? I could not tell or name the multitude, not even if I had 10 tongues, 10 mouths, a voice that never broke, a heart of bronze. Had not the Olympian muses, who are daughters of aegis-bearing Zeus, made me aware how many came to Troy, I catalog only the captains and the ships they brought. Alright. Let's list a bunch of fucking Greek names in succession, shall we? Alright. This is just a reading test. Alright. I catalog only the captains and the ships they brought. Those from Boeotia had their commanders. Colonus, Ledius, Peneleus, Arcesalius, Arcsalius, and Pronithor. They came from Graea, wide Mycalius, Hyra, rocky Aelius, Shonius, Scolius, Thespia, Harma, hilly Etonius, Islison, Erethe, Elion, Hyli, Petion, Ocalea, Cope, Glyssa, the citadel of Medion, Etresius, Thisbe, like the guy from Shakespeare, Thisbe where the pigeons flock, Platea, the lush grasses of Hilaritus, the border town, Anthedon, Coronia, Medea, well-constructed Hypothebe, holy Onchestus, sacred to Poseidon, Arne, where rich vines grow, and holy Nyssa. These men had 50 ships, and in each ship 120 young Boeotians sailed. Oh fuck. Guys, there's gonna be a lot of names. This is like that one part of the Bible where it's just fucking the lineage. Okay. That's all the people from Boeotia. And where they came from. So now from Espladon and Orchomenius came the Minions, whom Asclepius commanded, and Ilymenus. They were 2 sons of Ares. Force of God had secretly laid down with admirable Astyoche, the daughter of Actor, son of Asus. She went up to the top room of her father's house, and there the girl gave birth to twins, who now had sailed to Troy with 30 hollow ships. The leaders of the men who came from Phocius, Epstrophius, and Schedius were sons of Ippitus, who was the valiant son of Nobilus. They came from Cyparissus in rocky Pythio, holy Crissa, Dalius, Panopius, and Animoria, and from Hyampolis, and others lived by shining river Cepheus. Some came from the nearby river source in Lycia. 40 black ships sailed with them, and the captain stationed the ranks of Phoenicians with great care, and set them in full armor on the left of the Boeotians. Of the Locrians, the son of Lord Oeneus was captain. Ajax, the swift, known as the Lesser, because he was much smaller than great Ajax, the son of Telamon. I love that they're just like, it's little and big Ajax. So there's Ajax the Swift, which is little Ajax, and then Ajax the Big. That is so funny. And Ajax the Big is the son of Telamon. The lesser Ajax was small and wore a corselet made of linen, but with the spear he was the best of all. With him came those who lived in Oppius, lovely Ogygia, Sinus, Bessa, Scarphi, Tarphi, Calrius, and Thronius, besides the streams of Bogarius. 40 black ships came with him, bringing men from Locrius, facing Sacrosanct Eboia. Those from Eboia, breathing force Abantius, from Erythia, Vineland Histeia, Calcius, the beach town Cerinthius, the high citadel Dion, Crustas and Stria. Their leaders were Elphenor, friend of Ares, son of Clacodon. These sound like dinosaur names. Like the Claxodon? Or, oh, I guess because they're Latin names. And the names of dinosaurs are Latin names. So these kind of are like dinosaur names. If you really think about it, these really are like dinosaur names. But I guess these names came first, before the dinosaurs. So dinosaurs, I guess, technically have, like, these guys' names. It's not important. It's not important at all. Okay. He led the brave Abantus, and they swiftly followed him, hair long behind them. Spearmen who were eager to smash the enemy's breastplates with their weapons of ash, held high and ready. With him came 40 black ships. Damn, they have 40 black ships. That's a lot of fucking guys. And from those mighty Athens, people of great Erechtheus, the son of earth that gave us wheat, raised by Athena, daughter of Zeus. She settled him in Athens, in her own wealthy temple, where the youths offered her bulls and sheep as years went round. Menestheus, son of Petios, led them. No man on earth matched him as marshal of horses and of warriors with shields. Nestor could rival him, but he was older. And with him 50 black ships came to Troy. and Ajax led 12 ships from Salamis and stationed them beside the line from Athens. Which Ajax? Ajax the big or little? Ajax the big or little? Is it important? Oh, Ajax the Little was the one before. This is Big Ajax. He came with 12 ships, while Little Ajax came with 40. Oh, Big Ajax is getting mocked by Little Ajax. The men of Argos and Highwalled... Good night. The men of Argos and Highwalled Tyrans, Hermione and Assine, were both controlled deep bays, and mazes, Troezen, Aegina, it literally looks like vagina, Aegina, Eparidas rich in vines, and Iones were led by Diomedes, and Syphilinus, the well-loved son of famous Capenus. Euryalus came with them, a great and godlike man, their third commander, the son of King Mycetus and the great son of Talus. Both of them were the leader. But of them all, the leader was Diomedes, master of the war cry. 80 black ships came with them. Dude, this is so many fucking people. Like, that's, like, how many people are in one big ship? That's a lot of fucking people to row. Troy, you got a big storm coming. From Mycenae, the sturdy citadel. From wealthy Corinth, fine Retheria, well-built Cleone, and Sion, where first Adrastus ruled. From Hesperia, Hyperesia, and from the hills of Gonoisa, Ornia, Pelone, and those who used to live around Aegean, and all of Aegilius and Helce, a spacious area, 100 ships, led by the mighty son of Atreus, Lord Agamemnon. With him came by far the largest, finest army. With pride he dressed himself in shining bronze, and stood superior to all his fighting men, because he was the best, and led by far the greatest forces. Those from Lacedaemon, the land of valleys and ravines. From Pharis, Sparta, and Messa, the pigeons flock. Brysae, fine Augae, Amclay, Helios on sea, Las, and Oetlus were led to Troy by Agamemnon's brother, the master of the war cry, Menelaus, who came to Troy with 60 ships. His troops were arming separately. He walked among them, self-confidently urging them to war. He had the greatest yearning for revenge for Helen's suffering and struggles. Those from Pylos and beautiful Arene, Thyron, ford of the Alpheus, and well-built Epi, those who came from Cyparsius, Amphigene, Teleus, and Helios, and Dorian, the place the Muses met Thracian Thracian and then stopped his singing when he had traveled from Ocylia to visit Eurydice. Thamrius boasted that he could even win against the Muses if they, the daughters of the high King Zeus, the god who bears the Aegis, sang against him. The devil went down to Georgia type shit. Enraged, they mutilated him and robbed him of godlike song and forced him to forget the lyre. Damn. I mean, that's what you get for being like, I could take the Muses. Such like a man to be like, I could beat the Muses in a rap battle. I mean, they are the goddesses. They are the Muses, but I think I, a man, could beat them in a sing-off. Like, relax. These Pylians were led by Nestor, Garian horse lord. 90 hollow ships came with him. From Arcadia, that's down the street. From Arcadia there came more warriors who battled hand to hand. They lived around the tomb of Aepitus, beneath the rugged mountain of Silene in pastoral Orchomenus in Stratia Punius, ripe, Ripe, windy in Seppi, and beautiful Manatia and Tegia, Stymiphilius and Parasiah. Their leader, the son of Lord Anchius Agapenor, had 60 ships, and each ship embarked many Arcadians, skilled warriors. The great commander Agamemnon had given them galleys, which they rowed to Troy across the wine dark sea, because they cared nothing for sailing. From Prasium and glorious Elis, which contains Hermine, farthest Marisnes. That one I really think I fucked up. The Olean Rock, and from Elysion inland came 4 captains, and each had 10 swift ships, and each embarked many Epians. Sounds like EpiPens. Many EpiPens. And their leaders were Amphimachus, son of Cetius, and Thalpius, the son of Erutius, and who were both sons of Actor, and Diores, the sturdy son of Amacrius, and Amarinius. The 4th was godlike Lord Polyxenus, because X is like a Z sound, right? Polyxenus, son of Agassines, Aegeus' son. Damn, how many fucking people are there? I mean, I guess this is the book that is talking about the people who is talking about the multitude, and this is the multitude, so I guess it makes sense. Those from Dulichium, the holy islands of the Echinades, which lie at sea across from Elias, had as their commander Magus, as fierce as Ares, and his father, the horseman Phyleus, who Zeus had favored, migrated to Dulcium long ago in anger at his father. Magus captained 40 black ships. Odysseus commanded brave-hearted men from Celephania, who had held the territory of Ithaca, the quivering woods of Neritus and rough Egalypses, Croxilia, and Sandinus, Samos, the mainland, and the facing regions. This leader was a match for Zeus in cunning. 12 ships with red cheeks followed him to war. He only had 12 ships. Work. One of the Aetolians, the king was Theos, the son. My camera died. Pause. Listen to the ambiance of the woods as I change the battery of this camera. Let the woods ambient you. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Ooh. Okay. Second battery coming. Oh, I did that so fucking fast. I never changed that battery so fast. That was amazing. Oh, love my new haircut. Life is so beautiful. Let's keep reading all these names, shall we? Sam, if you're listening, will you give me some more water? If not, I'll take a break soon to get me some water. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yes. Of the Aetolians. The way that, like, these, this specifically, the Aetolians, reminds me of, isn't it like Aetons in Brandon Sanders's Elantris? Which reminds me of that. The king was Theos, son of Andromon. They came from Plerion, Olneus and Philene, seaside Clacus and rocky Claydon, brave Oeneus was dead, as were his sons. Blonde Melager was also dead, so all rule fell on Theos. 40 black ships came with him. Of the Cretans, it's Cretan, if you're going to insult me, do it correctly. Of the Cretans, Lord Idomeneus, oh, we've heard of him before, the famous spearman, was captain. Those men came from high-walled Gortys, Knossos, Miletus, Lyctus, and White Lycastus, Phaestus, and Rhytius, those splendid cities, and others from the 100 towns of Crete. Their chiefs were Idomeneus the spearman, and Lord Meriones, who slaughtered men like Ares, god of war and god of fury, and 80 black ships sailed at their command. This name looks like telephone pole. Telepomus, a son of Heracles, a powerful, tall, flat fighter. Okay, I thought I misread Hercules. No, it's Heracles. A powerful, tall fighter brought with him 9 ships of noble warriors from Rhodes.
Want food?
Yes, please.
Okay, sure, even though you're reading.
I would like some water.
I think water.
My love. Love you so much. Ugh. A doll. Where was I? Oh yes. So, telephone pole. Telepomus, a son of Heracles, a powerful tall fighter, brought with him 9 ships of noble warriors from Rhodes, an island that is sectioned in 3 parts, Lindos and Isus and White Cambrius. Astoke bore Telepomus. The mighty Heracles had taken her from Ephyria by the Selleus River, after he had desolated many towns of thriving, lively people loved by Zeus. Telepomus was raised in her fine mansion, but killed his father's own maternal uncle, Marshal Minius. That's really good, Sam. Thank you. He fed me a piece of chicken. Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. Sorry, buddy. This me touching the mic isn't like super fucking loud. Okay. He killed his own father's maternal uncle, Marshal Minius. The other men, grandsons and sons of mighty Heracles, threatened him. So he quickly built a fleet, amassed an army, and escaped by sea. After many wanderings and troubles, he came at last to Rhodes, and there he settled. They had 3 tribes, all dearly loved by Zeus. The son of Kronos, lord of God and humans. He poured on them unearthly wealth. From Cyme, Nereus led 3 ships. Aegialus' son Nereus, son of Lord Chaeprinus, Nereus the most handsome of all the Greeks who came to Troy, except for great Achilles. But he was weak, and few troops came with him. Work. I like that we now know from fact who the hottest, second hottest, and ugliest man who came with the Greeks is in this book. I love that. I'm like, that's very important information. Also, good for you, Achilles. Didn't know he was that hot. That's so funny, but he was weak and few troops came with him. That's so good. The men from Nicerus, Crapathus, Cassius, and Cos, the town of Lord Eurypylus, and Calendae islands had as leaders Antiphius and Pitibis, the 2 sons of Thessalus, son of Heracles. With them came 30 hollow ships. Now, from Pelgason Argos came the men from Alos, from Pythia, Trechus, Alope, Hellas, where women were most beautiful. These men are called the Myrmidons. Hellenes, Achaeans. Achilles led them here in 50 ships, but they ignored the brutal war. They had no one to lead to the battle lines. Swift-footed Lord Achilles lay unmoving among the ships, because he was still angry about the woman with the pretty hair, Briseis, whom he had worked so hard to capture out of Lyrnicius when he sacked that town and razed the walls of Thebes, that killed Estropius and Mines, nimble spearmen, sons of Ebenus, son of Cephalus. He lay there suffering for her, but soon he would rise up again. He worked so hard to capture her. Oh, poor Achilles. From Phylace in windy Prises, Demeter's place, Iton, where flocks are fostered, seasign Antron, and Tellus, the bed of grass, came men led by the warrior Procelius, while he had been alive. By then already the black earth held him. Back in Plyce, his wife was left to rip both cheeks in grief. His house was left half built. A Dardan killed him as he was jumping from his ship to shore, the first of all the Greeks. His troops were sorry to lose him, though they did not lack a leader. Their new commander was a friend of Ares, Phodocrates, son of Iphiclus, the grandson of Pliacus, who herded many sheep. Phodocrates was in truth the younger brother of great Protesilaus, who had been a stronger warrior, a better fighter. The troops were sorry to have lost their leader, although they had a new one. With Phodocares came 40 ships, all black. And those from Phrae, who had come from Boeb, by Lake Boebis, from mighty Ilochus, and from Galfire, and Molius led them in 11 ships. He was the dear son of Admetus, born to Marvelous Aclestis, the daughters of Peleus. She was the loveliest. From Meliboa and Methone, rugged Olison, and Thamatia came men led by Philoctetes is what I almost just said. Skillful with his bow in 7 ships. Each were 50 rowers, all talented at archery and combat. But Philoctetes lay in agony. On holy Liminus, where the Greeks had left him, a deadly water snake had wounded him. He lay there suffering, but soon the Greeks beside their ships would once again remember the Lord Philoctetes. Now his troops were sorry that he was gone, although they had a leader. Damn, they just left him to die after getting bitten by a water snake. They had a leader. Medon, Oleus the city sacker, fathered him out of wedlock, and his mother was weaned. And from Tricca, rough Ithome and all the land around Ochialia, and from the city ruled by Eurytus, a pair of brothers led the troops, Machaon and Podalarius, both skillful doctors, both sons of great Asclepius the healer. With them came 30 hollow ships. Those from Orminion, Asterion, and white-clipped Titanus and Hyperia sailed under noble Eurypylus, Euaemon's son. 40 black ships came with him. Damn, girl, how many are there? I think we're almost done. From Argissa, Girtone, Orth, White Uluson, and from the town of Alone, tenacious warrior Polypotes led the men, son of Pirithous, grandson of Zeus. Hippodamia birthed him on the day Pirithous chastised the hairy centaurs, and drove them from Mount Pelion towards the Aethicles. He did not fight alone, with Leontius, the martial son of brave Coronus, son of Caeneus. These troops arrived at Troy with 40 ships. Bronius brought from Cyphus 22. He was the leader of the Inians, the staunch Parabai, and the men who lived around Dodona, where harsh storms frequent, in the fields by lovely Titarisius, which pours its beautiful clean waters into the silver eddies of the Peneus, yet does not mix with it but flows on top like oil, because the river Peneus flows as a tributary of the Styx, the water by which dreadful oaths are sworn. Vigorous Protheus, Tinthridon's son, led the Magnesians from the Peneus, and from Mount Pelion the forest river, and 40 ships sailed to Troy with him. Those were the lords and leaders of all the Greeks. Now tell me, Muse, who was the best of all the men and horses who set sail to Troy, and followed the 2 sons of Atreus? And mirror, mirror, muse on the page, who was the fairest of them all? By far the best war horses were the mares of Phraates' son, Admetus. Emules drove them. Their hooves could fly as swift as birds. Their coats were matching in their withers level. Apollo of the silver bow had raised them in Pieria. Both mares they brought with them terror and war. Of men, the best by far was Telamonian Ajax. Is that the name of Big Ajax? I think that's Big Ajax. What's that okay, yeah. Ajax the Swift, known as the Lesser, because he was much smaller than the Great Ajax, son of Telamon. So if it's, yeah, Telamonian Ajax, so Big Ajax. Of men, the best by far was Telamonian Ajax, while Achilles was wrathful. He was far superior, as were his horses. But he lay beside his fleet of steady, curving boats and raged at Agamemnon. Because Achilles is wrathful. The guy who's next in line to be best, because Achilles is not playing, he opted out, is Big Ajax. Okay, he lay beside his fleet of steady, curving boats and raged at Agamemnon, shepherd of the people. Beside the breaking waves, his men enjoyed throwing short spears and discuses and shooting with arrows. By their chariots, the horses were standing still and grazing on the clover and water parsley, which the mud had fed. The chariots were covered up and stored inside the leaders' huts. Achilles' men were traipsing around the camp. They missed their leader, warlike Achilles, and they did not fight. But all the other troops began to move, as when the whole earth is consumed by fire. The ground beneath them groaned, just as when Zeus, the god who loves the thunder, is enraged and whips the land of Arimi around Typhoeus, where they say the giant sleeps. So roared the earth beneath the fighters' feet, so fast they sprinted across the plain. The messenger on feet of wind, swift Iris, went to the Trojans with dreadful news from Zeus who wears the aegis. By the gates of Priam's house they gathered, young and old. Swift-footed Iris stood among the crowd. She made her voice like that of Priam's son. Polites, he's polite. Swift as sprinting, who was posted beside the tomb of old Acides to watch for when the Greeks might leave their ships. Resembling him, swift-footed Iris said, "Father, you always love unending speeches, now as in former times, in days of peace. But now unceasing war has risen up. I have engaged in many fights and battles, but I have never seen so large an army. Like leaves or grains of sand they cross the plain to fight before our town. I speak to you, Hector, especially, do as I say. In Priam's mighty town are many allies, and languages of distant people differ. Let each commander marshal all his forces and lead his men to war." She finished. Hector, who realized a goddess had been speaking, immediately ended the assembly. They rushed to arms, and all the gates were opened. The troops leapt out with horses and on foot. A great cacophony arose. There was a steep hill on the plain in front of Troy, with space all around, which humans called Beta, but deathless gods call it tomb of agile Myrene. The Trojans and their allies were marshaled. Mighty Hector, son of Priam, and his bright helm flashing, led the men of Troy. With him the best and largest group of Troy were armed and eager with their spears. The great Aenians led the Dardans. He was born to Aphrodite, fathered by Anchises. The goddess met the mortal on the foothills of Ida. With Aeneas came the two sons of Anathor, competent in war, Archilochus and Amachus. The Trojans who lived around the farthest foot of Ida, in the rich Zelia where they drink dark water from river Aesipus, had their leader glorious Pandarius, Lycaon's son, whose bow was given to him by Apollo. Oh, now we're doing the whole Trojan fleet. Have we not had enough names? From Adrastia, Pitya, Apastius, and steep Mount Teria, the men were led by Amphius, who wore a linen tunic, and by Adastrius. Both were sons of Merops, from Percote, who were the best of all at prophecy and foresight. He forbade his sons to march to war where men are killed. They disobeyed, because their destinies of death and darkness carried them to Troy. From Percote and Abydos, and Cestus, and Practus, and fine Arisbe came men led by Asius, the noble son of Heractus, whose big, bright sorrel horses carried him from Arisbe, the shores of the Selleis. And Hippotheus brought swordsmen from Larissa's fertile earth. Phlegesians, led by Lord Hippotius and warrior Pylius, the two sons of Lethius, son of Timetius. The Saracens were led by Acamas, the mighty Pyrrhos, from land encircled by Hellespont, the strong current, and Ephemus, son of Trocinus, son of Kingly Saius, led the Cacothian spearmen. And Praecumus led the Phaenoians with their curving bows from distant Amydon, beside the wide waters of river Axius, whose streams spread with exquisite beauty over the earth. Wide, hairy Flaminians led the men from Paphlagonia and Enti, who live among the herds of wild she-mules, and from Cytorius around Sesamon, and from the famous cities by the river Parthenius, from Cromna and the heights of Erythene and Aegialius. The Halizones came from far away, from Alibi, birthplace of silver, led by Lord Epistrophus and Odius. The Mysians were commanded by two leaders, Chromius and Ennomus, a seer who could interpret birds, but Augury could not protect him from the black death and fate. Swift-footed Lord Achilles' hands had killed him, in that same river where he massacred all those other Trojans. From far distant Ascania, godlike Ascanius and Phorcys led the Phrygians. They were eager for combat in the throng of battle. Those who had been born beneath Mount Tmolus, named Maeonians, were led by Antiphus and Messalles, who were sons of Telemenes. Their goddess mother was the lake Gyega, and Nastes led to Troy the Caranians, who spoke a foreign language, from Miletus and from Mount Pythres, dense in foliage, and from the heights of Mycal, and from the streams of Meander. They were led by Nases and Amphimachus, right children of Nominum. One brother came to war dressed in gold ornaments, just like a girl. Just like women. These baubles did not save his life, poor fool. The grandson of Achius, swift Achilles, seized hold of him and killed him in the river. The victor took possession of his gold. Sarpedon and incomparable Glaucus were leaders of the Lycians, who had come from far away beside the eddying Xanthius. That was book 2, The Multitude. If you guys wanted to know who's fighting who. I'm gonna go grab a quick bite, and then we'll do book 3, and then I guess that'll be a good place to stop after book 3. So I'm gonna go real quick, listen to the sounds of the forest. I'll grab a quick couple bites of chicken. I'll be right back. also grabbed a Dr. Pepper. Which I don't think is going to help my kind of sore throat. I don't think it's going to coat the throat. Just one more there. Add a piece of chicken. I'm gonna eat good after this, I'll tell you that. Some ASMR. Way too loud. If only it was root beer. I fucking love root beer. Now realizing a mistake, I'm gonna be burping now. I'm drinking soda. I'm so stupid, but I love. I'm trying to cut back on soda, so we bought sparkling waters. Anyway, it's not really working because I still love the Dr. Pepper. Okay. Book 3. Gifts of the Goddess. This is gonna be about the horse. When all the warriors had been assembled, arranged in proper order with their leaders, Trojans marched with calls and cries like birds, just like the cries of cranes across the sky when they escape torrential winter rains and fly away towards the streams of ocean and bring destruction to the pygmy people. Out of the air they strike and start the conflict. I like how they don't call it the ocean, they call it ocean, capital O, ocean, like towards the streams of like a country, and it's just called ocean. It's kind of fun. Love that. The Greeks marched silently, breathing aggression, their hearts determined to protect each other. As on the peaks of some high mountaintop, the south wind, notice, pours a fog so thick that nobody can see beyond a stone's throw. Unwelcome to the shepherds, but for thieves, better than night. So rose the cloud of dust beneath their feet. They hurtled at such speed across the plain. As they drew near each other, the fighter at the forefront of the Trojans was godlike Paris Alexander, wearing a cloak of panther skin draped around his shoulders. Yo, he's got that shit on. He held a curving bow and sword, and brandished 2 spears, both tipped with bronze. I do love that it's like, this really was the Bronze Age, when you think about it. He stood in front and summoned all the bravest of the Greeks to fight him hand to hand in deadly combat. When Menelaus, friend of Ares, noticed Paris come striding out before the crowd, he was delighted, as a starving lion is thrilled to come upon a massive carcass, a stag with antlers or a mountain goat, and avidly begins to eat the flesh, even if eager hunters and quick hounds attack him. In the same way, Menelaus was thrilled to set his eyes on godlike Paris, believing he would make the culprit pay. Do you think this is why Shakespeare named the guy who fights Romeo and Juliet Paris? No, Paris is the prince in Romeo and Juliet. No? What am I thinking of? Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe Paris is just a name. There can be 2 characters named the same name, and it doesn't have to be a reference. Anyway, I got distracted. At once he seized his weapons and jumped down out of his chariot into the ground. When godlike Paris Alexander saw him appear among the foremost line of fighters, his confidence was battered, and he slunk back to his group of friends, avoiding death. Pussy. As in the valleys of the mountainside, when someone sees a snake and startles back, their body trembles and their cheeks turn pale, and off they run. So, godlike Paris, frightened of Menelaus, son of Atreus, drew back among the throng of Trojan fighters. But Hector saw him, and reproached and shamed him. Pathetic Paris, womanizer, cheat. You are the very best at looking pretty. Oh, how I wish that you had never lived or died unmarried. What? Hold on. Pathetic Paris, womanizer, cheat. You are the very best at looking pretty. She's just like, you are pathetic. You are so hot. Oh, I wish that you had never lived or died unmarried. That would be far better than life as such an object of contempt. The Greeks will surely laugh at you and say, "You look so handsome, like a champion, but in your heart there is no will to fight, no courage." Yet, despite your feebleness, you gathered up a crew of trusty men and sailed in sturdy ships across the sea to intermingle with the foreigners, and brought a pretty woman back with you, whose relatives by marriage are strong spearsmen. You brought a great suffering to all of us, your father and your city, all our people. You pleased our enemies, but shamed yourself. Why could you not face warlike Menelaus? You ought to know that. You ought to know the man whose wife you took. You ought to know the man whose wife you took. The gifts of Aphrodite will not help you. Your lyre, your hair, your attractiveness, and your lying mingled with the dust. The Trojans are such cowards. Were they not, they would have dressed you in a shirt of rocks for all the evils you have perturbed. Damn, Hector. But godlike Paris, Alexander answered, "Hector, it is quite reasonable for you to scold me in this way. Your heart is always tough as an axe that slices through a tree, used by a skillful man to build a ship. It magnifies the power of the man. The spirit in your heart is just as fearless. But do not blame me for the lovely gifts of golden Aphrodite. Glorious gifts that come from gods, that they themselves have given, must not be thrown away, although no human chooses them willingly. Now, if you want me to fight in battle and join the war, you must line up the other Greeks and Trojans, and in the middle of them all, set me to fight with Menelaus, friend of Ares, for Helen and for all the wealth and treasure. Let the winning man, the stronger fighter, get all the wealth and take the woman home. The rest of you must sacrifice and swear a solemn oath of friendship. Keep your homes in fertile Troy, and let the Greeks return to Greece, where horses pasture in the fields, and women are most beautiful." These words delighted Hector, and he went among the lines of Trojan troops and held them back, grasping the middle of his spear. All sat. The long-haired Greeks hurled. No? These words delighted Hector, and he went among the line of Trojan troops and held them back, grasping the middle of his spear. All sat. The long-haired Greeks hurled javelins at him and pelted stones and shot at him with arrows. But Agamemnon, lord of men, called out, "Hold back, young men of Greece. Do not shoot him. Hector in his bright helmet comes to talk." At once they stopped attacking and fell silent. Hector addressed both armies. "Listen now, Trojans and well-armed Greeks, to what the man who started this whole conflict has to say. Paris is asking all the other Trojans and all the other Greeks to set aside our splendid weapons on the earth that feeds us, while he himself... Oh! I don't know why I thought Hector was the one who took Helen to wed, but it was fucking Paris. And that's why Hector's like, you should be able to face the guy whose wife you stole. It's clicking to me now. I don't know why I thought Hector... I guess because Hector's like... he seems important. I thought he was a little bit... No. Heard. Oh yeah, because it's like Helen's super hot. Paris is super hot. I guess that makes sense. Okay. Listen now, Trojans and well-armed Greeks, to what the man who started this whole conflict has to say. Paris is asking all the other Trojans and all the other Greeks to set aside our splendid weapons on the earth that feeds us, while he himself fights warlike Menelaus, holding a duel in the midst of us for Helen and for all the wealth. The winner will get the wealth and take the woman home. The rest of you must sacrifice and swear a solemn oath of friendship. So he spoke. Then everyone was silent. No one spoke, till Menelaus, master of the war cry, called out to them, "Now listen to me also. My heart is suffering from dreadful grief. I think the Greeks and Trojans must disperse. You've already suffered too much harm from my dispute with Paris, which he started." He snuck that one in there, which he started. "Death is the destiny of one of us. Let that man die. The rest of you fall back at once, and let the Trojans Not me burping. Not me burping well as Middleia speaks. Work. Death is the destiny of one of us. Let that man die. The rest of you, fall back at once, and let the Trojans bring 2 sheep, a white ram and a black ewe, as their gifts for earth and sun. We shall provide a third to sacrifice to Zeus. Call Priam here to sacrifice and swear the oath himself, because his sons are arrogant and faithless. Let no one overstep the oaths of Zeus. The minds of younger men are always flighty. When an old man is present at a meeting, he can assess the interests of both sides, because he looks at both the past and the future. At this, the Greeks and Trojans were delighted. They hoped the agonizing war would end. They lined the horses and the chariots up, got out, and took the weapons off and set them heaped on the ground. One lay beside the next, covering almost every inch of earth. Then Hector made the heralds rush to town to bring the sheep and summon Priam out. Lord Agamemnon sent Talthybius down to the hollow ships to bring the ram. The man obeyed great Agamemnon. Iris was sent as a messenger to white-armed Helen, shaped like Laodice, her husband's sister, the wife of influential Helicaon, Anathore's son. She was the prettiest of Priam's daughters, and in this disguise, Iris found Helen in the palace hall, weaving a massive double-layered cloth in dazzling colors. Patterning it upon the many troubles, tests, and tribulations that the Trojan horsemen and bronze-armored Greeks suffered at Ares' hands because of her. Swift-footed Iris stood near her and said, "Sweet sister, come with me so you can see the new extraordinary behavior of Trojan horsemen and of bronze-armed Greeks. Before they were intent on deadly war. Across the plain they carried to each other Ares, the god of tears, the god of war. But now they sit in silence. War has ceased. The warriors lean back against their shields, their long spears fixed beside them in the earth. Paris and Menelaus, friend of Ares, will fight a duel for you with long spears. You will be called the winner's loving wife." With this, the goddess poured into her heart sweet longing for her city and her parents, and for her former husband. Then at once, oh, okay, I understood. I thought it was something about, like, the goddess poured into her own heart this, and I was like, her former husband? Iris had a husband? No. The goddess poured into Helen's heart, sweet longing for her city, and her parents, and her former husband. Then at once she wrapped herself in fresh white linen clothes, and hurried from her bedroom, crying softly. She did not go alone. 2 slaves went with her. Aethra, a child of Pittheus, and ox-eyed Clymene. 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 Like Clytemnestra, her sister, but Clymene. Soon they reached the Saian gates, where Priam's senior advisor sat. Pantheos, Lampus, warlike Hicaton, thoughtful Antenor, wise Oeclegum, Clytius, and Thymoetes. All these men were now too old for war, but good in council, just as cicadas settle in the trees and fill the woods with sound as sweet as lilies. These were the Trojan leaders on the tower. When they saw Helen coming there, their words flew forth. The old men said to one another, "The Trojans and the Greeks in their fine armor should not be blamed for suffering so long for such a woman, being as she is. It is uncanny how she seems to look like the immortal goddesses. But still, though she is like this, let her sail away, or she may bring about catastrophe for us and for our children in the future." So spoke the old men. But then Priam called Helen to come to him and said, "Dear child, come sit by me and watch your former husband and family and friends and relatives. I do not blame you in the least for this. I blame the gods who roused the tears of war in conflict with the Greeks. Now who is that enormous man down there? Please let me know. I've seen others taller, but my eyes had never seen a man with such good looks, such authority. Indeed, he seems so like a leader." "Glorious," Helen answered. "Father-in-law, I love you and respect you. I wish that I had chosen painful death the day I came here with your son and left my bedroom, kinsman, late-born precious daughter, and cherished group of women friends. I did not. That is why I have melted into tears. But I can give you an answer to your question. Fucking poor Helen, man. That man you see down there is Agamemnon, the son of Atreus, whose power spreads across a wide expanse of land. He's a skillful leader, a strong spear fighter, and he was once my kinsman through his brother, the former husband of my dog-faced self, if any of these things took place at all. My dog-faced self? What does that mean? Former husband. My dog-faced self. I guess she's like me in the past was a bitch. That's probably what that means. Old Priam marveled at the Greek commander and said, "You're so lucky, Agamemnon, favored by gods and born the child of fortune. So many Greeks are under your command. I went to Phrygia, where the rich vines grow, and saw the massive Phrygian armies led by Atreus and godlike Magdon, driving their quick, bright horses when those troops were marching beside the banks of the Sangrias. Sangrias? I stood among them on the very day the Amazons, who rival men, arrived. These quick-eyed Greeks outnumber all of them. Then old King Priam saw Odysseus and said, 'Dear daughter, come now, tell me also who that man is. Much shorter in his stature than Agamemnon, son of Atreus, but broader in his shoulders and his chest. His weapons have been set down on the earth that feeds us all, and he himself is pacing among the lines of soldiers like a ram. I would compare him to a thick-fleeced ram among a mighty flock of bright white sheep.' And Helen, child of Zeus, made this reply, 'That is intelligent Odysseus, Laertes' son, brought up in Ithaca, a rugged island. He knows every trick, and he can always form the wisest plans.' Then wise Antenor said to Helen, 'Lady, your words are true. God-like Odysseus came into Troy with warlike Menelaus a while ago, upon an embassy to try to get you back. They were my guests inside my home. I welcomed both of them into my halls. I got to know their looks and how they think. They joined us in assemblies, and when both were standing, Menelaus was more imposing, with his massive shoulders. But when they sat, Odysseus had more authority. When they were weaving words and telling everybody their proposals, then Menelaus could speak fluently. Few words, but clear ones, brief and to the point. But when the brilliantly intelligent Odysseus leapt up, he kept his eyes fixed on the ground and did not move his staff forward or back, but kept it still, as if entirely ignorant of its proper use. You might think he was angry, or a fool, but when he did release his mighty voice from deep inside his chest, he poured forth words like winter snowflakes. No one then could match Odysseus, and we no longer thought to notice his appearance. Then old Priam saw a third fire, Ajax. Is this Ajax the big or little? I think it's probably Ajax the big, because he's the one after Achilles, the best fighter. Who is this other big, strong Greek? That's supposed to be Ajax the big, who stands taller by head and shoulders than the rest. Majestic Helen in her long, fine dress replied, 'That giant warrior is Ajax, the Greek defender. On his other side, the godlike Idomeneus is standing among the Cretans, and the Cretan leaders are gathered around him. Warlike Menelaus hosted him often in our home, whenever he visited from Crete. Now I can see all the quick-eyed Greeks whose names I know, except for two commanders in the army, Castor the horseman, and the boxer Pollux, my full-blood brothers. We all shared a mother. Perhaps they did not march from lovely Sparta, or else they did sail here across the sea, but now they do not want to join the fighting, frightened of all the insults and shame leveled at me.' She said this while already they lay beneath the earth, the source of life, back home in Sparta, in their own dear land. Oh. She's like, now I can see all the quick-eyed Greeks whose name I know. She's like, I know, these are all the names that I know, but I do know two other names, and it's her brothers, but they're fucking dead. God, Helen can't catch a fucking break, man. Ugh. Now heralds brought through town the offerings to sanctify the oaths, 2 sheep, and wine that cheers the heart, the harvest of the field inside a goatskin flask. A herald named Idias brought a shining bowl and cups of gold. He stood beside the old King Priam to rouse him into action, saying, "Come now, son of Laomedon." Sure. "They summon you, the leaders of the Trojans, lord of horses, and all the Greeks in tunics forged of bronze, down to the plain to sacrifice and swear a holy oath. Now Paris Alexander and warlike Menelaus will do battle with long spears for the woman. She must follow the winner, who will also claim the wealth. The rest of us will offer sacrifices and solemn oaths and go on living there, in fertile Troy. Those men will go back to Argos, where the horses graze in pastures, and where the women are so beautiful, in Greece." When he said this, the old man shuddered. He told his men to harness up the horses, and they obeyed at once. King Priam mounted his splendid chariot and took the reins. Antenor climbed beside him, and they drove the galloping horses through the Scaean gates, out of the plain, and reached the waiting armies. And there they stepped down from the chariot onto the earth that feeds the world, and strode to the middle of the Greeks and Trojans. Immediately, the great lord Agamemnon stood up as the master strategist Odysseus. The noble stewards brought the offerings to ratify the truce, and mixed the wine inside the bowl and poured the washing water onto the leader's hands. Then Agamemnon, son of Atreus, drew out the butcher's knife that always hung beside the mighty scabbard of his sword, and lopped off tufts of head hair from the sheep. The stewards shared the tufts among the leaders. Then Agamemnon raised his hands and prayed. "Lord Zeus, our mighty father, nursed in Ida, you're the most magnificent and greatest. In Helios, the sun, you see and hear everything. And you rivers, and you earth, and Hades and Persephone who punish the weary humans in the underworld, if any of them cheated on a promise. You will be our witnesses. Protect our oaths. If Paris slaughters Menelaus, let him keep Helen and keep all the wealth and treasure, and let our fleet sail home across the sea. If light-haired Menelaus slaughters Paris, let the Trojans give back all the wealth and Helen, and they also have to give appropriate compensation to us Greeks to glorify us even in the eyes of people in the future. But if Priam and Priam's son refuse to pay the price when Paris is defeated, I shall fight to make them give me recompense, and stay right here till I make an end of war. With that, he used his pitless bronze to slit the sheep's throat, and he laid them gasping down upon the ground to take their final breaths. Hate that. The bronze blade took their strength. The Greeks and Trojans ladled the wine out of the mixing bowl and poured it into cups, and they made prayers to the everlasting gods like this. "Zeus, the most glorious and mightiest, and all you other deathless gods, let those who are the first to violate these oaths have their brains spattered on the ground, just like the swine, theirs and their children. Let their wives become the property of other men." Simply didn't have to add that part. Like, what the fuck did they do? That was their prayer. But Zeus, son of Cronos, did not yet grant it. The Dardanian Priam addressed them all. "Now listen to me, Trojans and well-armed Greeks. I will go back towards the windy town of Troy. I cannot bear to watch with my own eyes my own dear son fighting with Menelaus, friend to Ares. Zeus and all the other deathless gods must know which of the two has been ordained to die." With these words, Priam, equal of the gods, loaded the lambs inside his handsome carriage, and mounted it himself and took the reins. Antenor climbed beside him, and the two sped back to Troy. Then Hector, Priam's son, and glorious Odysseus first measured the area, then took the lots and shook them in a bronze helmet to find out which fighter should hurl his bronze spear first. The people prayed, lifting their arms up to the gods, and each Trojans and Greeks alike made prayers like this. "Lord Zeus, our mighty father, nursed on Ida, you are the most magnificent and greatest. Whichever of these two men is to blame for what is happening to Greece and Troy, let the man die and so descend to Hades, and may we have a truce and pact of friendship." So spoke the men, and mighty bright-helmed Hector, keeping eyes averted, shook the lots. The lot of Paris jumped right out at once. The fighters sat in rows, and each man set his finely fashioned weapon at his side. The horses kicked their hooves beside the men. The godlike Paris Alexander, husband of Helen with the lovely braided hair, first strapped his armor to his lower legs. Beautiful greaves equipped with silver anklets. Around his chest he fixed a corslet, borrowed, although it fit him nicely, from his brother Lycaon. Then he slung across his shoulders a silver-studded sword of bronze and seized his massive, heavy shield. On his strong head he put a well-made helmet with a horse plume. The crest on top looked fearsome as it swayed. He took his sturdy sword. It fit in his hand. Good, it fit his hand, and warlike Menelaus likewise armed. When they were ready, from each side they strode into the middle of the Greeks and Trojans. Glaring at one another. As they watched, the well-armed Greeks and Trojan horsemen marveled. The two men now stood very close together, inside the measured area, and brandished their spears in furious anger at each other. Paris let fly his spear that cast long shadows. The bronze stuck hard against the balance sheet of Menelaus, son of Atreus, but did not penetrate. The weapon's tip buckled against a sturdy shield. In turn, Lord Menelaus, son of Atreus, leapt up and raised his spear of bronze and prayed to Father Zeus. Lord Zeus, I grant that I punish this man who wronged me first, this godlike Paris. Bring him down low beneath my hands, that all people in the future shrink from harming a host who treated them with love and friendship. Love Dr. Peppermint. Okay. Bring him down low beneath my hands, so that all people in the future shrink from harming a host who treated them with love and friendship. He broke Zeus's law. With that, he aimed, then hurled his long, dark spear and struck the finely balanced shield of Paris. The sturdy weapon pierced the shining shield, went through the intricate breastplate, and then cut right through his tunic to his flank. But Paris escaped black death by leaning to the side. Then Menelaus, son of Atreus, drew out his silver-studded sword and raised it high, and then smashed it on the decoration of his opponent's helmet. But the blade shattered and broke in fragments, 3 or 4, and fell out of his hand. And Menelaus groaned and looked up toward the spreading sky, and shouted, Father Zeus, no other god could be more cruel than you are. I thought that I would punish Paris for his crimes, but now my sword is broken in my hands. I threw my spear away from me in vain. I did not hit him. Then he leapt on Paris, and grabbed him by the shaggy horsehair helmet, twisted him round, and started dragging him towards the well-armed Greeks. And Paris had a strap adorned with rivets that secured his helmet underneath his chin, which now choked his delicate neck. Now Menelaus would have dragged him the whole way there, and won the glory for all eternity. But Aphrodite, daughter of Zeus, looked down with her keen gaze, and broke his ox-hide leather helmet strap. Then Menelaus, with a firm, sure grasp, pulled off the empty helmet, whirled it around, and tossed it out towards the well-armed Greeks, and his companions caught it. Menelaus dashed back again, pursuing Paris, longing to kill him with a spear of bronze. But then the goddess Aphrodite snatched up Paris with greatest ease, as gods can do, and hid him in a dense mist, and set him down inside his fragment-perfumed bedroom. Next, the goddess went off to summon Helen, whom she found upon the high wall with some Trojan women. She plucked at Helen's scented dress, disguised in look and voice as the old spinning woman who fashioned pretty woolen clothes for her, in spite of when she lived there, but loved her. In this guise, heavenly Aphrodite said, Come here. Paris is calling you back home. He's inside the bedroom on the knotted bed. His clothes are dazzling. So is his beauty. You would not think that he just came back from fighting. He seems like someone ready to go dancing, or just stop dancing, sitting down to rest. With these words, Aphrodite roused her feelings. She saw the goddess had a throat and neck of most extraordinary beauty, breasts to stir desire, and bright shining eyes. She was astonished, and she said, You, goddess, why do you want to trick me in this way? Will you keep leading me to yet more cities in Phrygia or in Maeonia, if any other mortal takes your fancy? Now Menelaus has defeated Paris, and wants to take me home with him again. Although I am so hateful, is that why you come to me now with these tricks of yours? Then go to him yourself and sit beside him. Give up the path of gods, and let your feet never turn back to Mount Olympus. Spend all your time on taking care of Paris. crying for him until he makes you either his slave girl or his wife, but I will not ever go back. It would bring retribution, and I will never service that man's bed. All of the Trojan women in the future will blame me if I do, and in my heart I will endure more pain than I can measure. Glorious Aphrodite, furious, said, "Stubborn girl, you must not make me angry, or in my rage I will abandon you, and start to loathe you, with as deep a passion as I have loved you as my friend till now. I shall devise a strategy to make you both loved and abhorred by both the Greeks and the Trojans, and you shall die a dreadful death." At this, Helen, child of Zeus, was terrified. She wrapped her bright white cloak around herself and slipped away in silence, secretly, so that the Trojan woman did not notice. The goddess led the way, and when they reached the marvelous house of Paris, slaves were quickly scurrying around to do their work. But Helen, the godlike woman, went up to the bedroom, and Aphrodite, who loves smiles, was there. She drew the chair for her and set it down across from Paris Alexander. Helen, the child of Zeus, who bore Aegis, sat there. Her eyes would not meet his. She spoke and scolded her husband. So you came back from the fighting. I wish you had died out there, defeated by that strong man who used to be my husband. Before you claimed you were superior to warlike Menelaus in your strength and hands and spear. So go on. Challenge him. Call Menelaus back again to fight you. But no, I order you to stop. Do not make war and fight with red-haired Menelaus. It would be idiotic. You would soon lose and lie dead beneath that fighter's spear. Then Paris answered, "Do not scold me, wife, with so much criticism of my courage. It is true Menelaus beat me this time, thanks to Athena. Next time I shall win. We also have some gods on our own side, but come now, let's go to bed and take pleasure in making love. I never felt desire like this enfolded around my heart, not even when I first took you away. By ship across the sea from the lovely Sparta, and afterwards upon the isle of Cranae, I shared a bed with you. We made love. Not even then was I so seized by sweet desire for you." Gross. He led her to the bed. His wife came with him. Good. You know what? Good job, Paris. Alright. His wife came with him, and the two of them lay there together on the well-made bed. But meanwhile, Menelaus paced around all through the crowd like some wild animal, trying to catch a glimpse of godlike Paris. None of the Trojans or their noble allies could find where Paris was, though if they had, they would not have concealed him out of friendship. Indeed, the Trojans all detested Paris, as if he were Black Death. Then Agamemnon said, the Lord of Men said, "Listen to me now, Trojans, Dardanians, and allied fighters. It must be obvious that Menelaus has won the duel, so you must return both Argive Helen and the treasure with her, and pay proper compensation too, so people in the future will remember." The Greeks approved the words of Agamemnon. And I think that's a great place to stop for tonight, because I'm gonna go eat some more food, and my throat is starting to hurt. Ooh. Because there is something to be said about reading aloud. That is hard. What bookmark do I want? Should I use this hand-drawn bookmark that I got from my local bookstore that says, "I dig reading"? Ooh. I dig reading. It's a little mole. I'm gonna do that. Or, oh, I have these metal ones too. I have like this metal one that like hangs on it that Sam's mom got me in Portugal. I might use that because that seems fancy for the Iliad. Ooh, yeah. Because then it does that and it like hangs off that. That's quite nice. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. To all my vaudeville viewers, if anyone is, hope you have sweet dreams. Hope everyone is asleep by now. Dream well, and I'll see you guys at some point. Tomorrow is my last day at work, before I start my new job in August, so hopefully my schedule will be better so I can stream more often, and I can do more story times at night and play more video games during the day. So, also shout out to Forest Sounds, Woodland Ambiance, Bird Song. Huge fan. Oh, perfect timing. This was about to end. Oh, love it. Love when things work out. Okay. Bye, you guys. Sleep well. All right. And let's see if I can stop streaming.